So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 12 of the Kick Out Crew. Thank you for joining us for tonight, wherever you may be or may not be, but we'll get to that later. Thank you for all the positive feedback on our previous episode. Really appreciate the good vibes coming our way, and keep the questions flowing for sure, because we had a guest last week and we're having a guest this week. So, keep the questions, good vibes coming, and always send your questions to @KickoutCrew on Twitter. But that's enough about me. We have a special guest today, and Amy Vaughn. So I'm going to kick it to her at the Kick Out Crew. And Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I am excited to obviously talk about women's wrestling and maybe give a woman's perspective and to help Brad out with the older generation, because Brad and I are the same age. So maybe he won't be so outnumbered listening to the previous podcast that you all have done. Some of the things that have been mentioned, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. And, Devyn's like, that happened 20 years before I was born or something like that. So, so I'm here to help with that demographic, so thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. Good to see you. Obviously, we're going to talk about 3 great matches today. But, before we dive into the matches, we're going to, see how the guys are doing for sure. So I'm going to go to Brad, kick it to you first. How you been, man?
Oh, it's just been fantastic. So I wanted to talk a little bit this week about low-key success in your life. Now, it's fair season. It's carnival season. I'm sure we got something going on in Kentucky there, young lady, don't we?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. So a number of years ago, when my kids were 7 and 5 years old, we went to the St. Mike's Fair. Now, they had gone the night before, and the night before, they were apparently scared by this clown at the dunking booth. Okay, so they're letting me know, Dad, whatever you do, don't walk by the clown at the dunking booth. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll avoid the clown at the dunking booth, no problem. So we're walking through. I'm not real big on playing the games, anything like that. I like to eat there. I like them to ride the rides. And then, of course, we walk by this clown at the dunking booth. There's people yelling at him. He's yelling back. He's cursing. He's being very mean. But I don't care. He's not talking to me. But I walk by and he goes, "Hey, Baldy." Like, look over. I guess he's talking to me. Could have been a number of people, but I guess it's me. "Hey, Baldy." I look over. He goes, "That ugly kid of yours, that is one ugly kid you got there." I stopped dead in my tracks. And then there was a hush in the crowd. All these people start gathering around and they're looking at him. They're looking at me. They're looking at him. And I say, "Give me the balls." So they throw the balls at me. Now, little by little, people are surrounding. My daughter starts crying. My son's running around saying, my dad's gonna get beat up by the clown. So, and now little by little, people are crowding in. Now, pressure's on, right? Pressure's freaking on. I have a ball. I throw it. Not even close. Not even close. He's like, "Hey, Baldy, that ugly kid of yours, hopefully her real dad comes around soon." Like, all right. So I throw the second ball. Again, nowhere near the target. However, it hits the beam. The long beam that is connected to the target. Well, guess what? If you hit the beam, which is, by the way, harder to hit, even though I wasn't aiming for it, the same thing happens. The clown goes down. So in slow motion, I see the clown go down into the water. And then I hear it. Ah, the place erupts. Like it was like I had just hit a grand slam at the World Series. The place go nuts. People are jumping on my back. My daughter dives into my arms. My son is losing his shit. And then the clown gets out of the water. He looks at me and he goes, "Great shot, Baldy." And then I threw the balls behind me and I just walked away. So not a big deal. Not a big deal, I guess. Like nothing major accomplishment. It was not a promotion. It was not any kind of, it was a low-key accomplishment that made me feel real good. So I wanted to, well, we're not all here yet. Thanks, Coach, for the late call. And Adam, I'm not sure what you're doing in the dark, but Devyn, what kind of low-key success have you had in your life?
Low-key success. Well, honestly, that's nothing that
So
comes
help
off
me
the top of
God,
my
if you
head.
say your fiance, I'm gonna lose it.
Oh, well, she is definitely a success, but low-key.
Oh my God! Did he just pause? Did he just pause?
I mean, I'm
All right, Mr. Roboto, we're gonna come back to you in a minute.
You gotta climb up and try to ring them.
Oh yeah, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Sorry, my internet cut out. I don't know.
Hey,
We were here. We were here for it. All right, Amy, do me a favor.
Yes.
Can you let us know something in your life that maybe you're proud of that maybe isn't a big deal to everyone else, but was a big deal to you?
Oh, yes, that's what I turned around to look for. Where is it? Oh my. Let me think. You might have to come back to me. Sorry.
We are on a roll. James, will you please save the day here?
all right, man. I got a good one. Not to be, but I guess a low key success is I was pretty much living with my mom and doing jack shit in Oklahoma, and then moved out here pretty much on my own, and kind of just slowly grind and did my shit. Made a couple sacrifices here and there. Shit happens, but low key success now. Been on my own since moved here. I guess coming up 5 years, I think, in this apartment. I've had 3 raises. Just got promoted. I've been promoted twice, I guess, technically within this company. So. Some people doubt you and they look at you a certain way, and then you just kind of smile in their face and fucking whip ass. I don't know what to say. Sorry. But yeah, as a low-key personal success, and I like that. Not done by no means, but yeah.
So do you split up your sleep schedule?
Do I?
Yeah.
100%. Haven't got used to this new schedule at all. It's like 4
you
hours.
Like 3 hours one night, 4 hours in the afternoon, something like that. Is that what you do?
Roughly. Currently, yes.
That's a low-key success there, I'll tell you.
Ain't that the truth? Waking
What's your
up after,
schedule?
the 3 hours.
What's your schedule, James? What do you what are you having to do that for?
I go in at 3 a.m. every day.
Mm.
My first day was on a Sunday, and at Sunday that shift is 1 a.m. But
That is so ridiculous.
And I'm used to like not going in that early, so gotta get this is my first week doing it. It is what it is. But I'll get used to it over time.
Oh, definitely.
And it makes me definitely look forward to Chicago, where I won't have to wake up at 2 a.m. every day. So.
You might not even see him, huh?
If you're lucky, you're going to bed at 3 a.m., right?
Exactly.
And then back up at 8 a.m. to see Kurt Angle.
So Sundays, you literally go from watching a pay-per-view, and then 2 hours later going.
I honestly did not watch that pay. I watched, I had it on in the background, but I was like off and on sleeping. I did wake up to see a spicy vignette, but by the time this airs, it's probably going to be a letdown for sure.
All right, Amy, you're ready.
Okay.
All right.
So, some of you all here in this group know, and maybe some of the ones that I know, some people who are out there watching know, I'm a really big Arn and Tully fan. I'm a baby from the 80s, and that is my jam. And that's where I first really fell in love with wrestling. And so when we talk a lot about wrestling, for me, it's the Big Blue Cage, and it's, the tag team division that they had. Well, so most people know my love for Arn Anderson. And so a couple months ago, listen to me. Last month, I went to Webster, Massachusetts, to I forgot the organization's name. I stayed the weekend with the wonderful Anthony and Shannon Pyers, and we went and saw FTR with Bret Hart in their corner versus Brock Anderson and Brian Pillman Jr. with Arn Anderson in their corner. So I signed up for the meet and greet for Arn, of course. And I want you all to see what he wrote for me. He put, "To my Amy."
That is nice.
You're
awesome.
the best. So, and he has mentioned me on his own podcast before, and he wrote it to I am his Amy. And that to me is some low-key success that I will cherish this forever. I am forever known as Arn's Amy. So
mentioned you on his podcast. Mentioned
Yes.
you. Yes, he
Yes.
has mentioned you several times on
yes,
his podcast.
yes.
Yeah, we know
he-
that.
I'm always afraid that he's going to be like, well, if I need to mention her so that she doesn't like sneak in my house and slit my throat. So he thinks I'm a crazy. He does it though. But
He does
I'm
that.
always afraid he's going to be like, oh my God, there's that crazy Amy again. But so far, so good. And I'm becoming a Brock Anderson fan too. He's really good. And I love seeing them two together and what that must be like to have your dad teaching you the ropes and in your corner, literally, not just, being in the business, but, being there in his corner and, still being that figure and being that four horsemen, So I'm rooting for Brock too. So.
And they don't look anything alike.
Nothing at all.
Couldn't tell.
I would
Nothing at
I would
all.
definitely get a paternity test, blood test there and make sure on
That's
that.
right. That's right. I was very confused at the meet and greet, but we got it all figured out.
That's awesome, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing. Mike,
Is that me?
have you done anything? What do you got?
I beat my son in Fortnite. I guess that was a low-key success for me. I don't ever play. He don't ever want me to play with him on his team. If I'm playing with him, I have to be on the opposite team because he knows he's going to kill me. Well, I showed his ass one time, and I got him several times.
I texted this earlier in the week.
Yeah, but that was cool for me. I was proud of myself.
I'm proud of you too.
Put him in his place.
Nice.
Devyn, I don't know if you want to repeat what you said because, like I said, you were just a robot. No one got any.
Well, about a month ago, I just hit my 5 years at work, and I'm just excited about that. I think that's a personal goal.
Yeah.
I work for a structural steel company called Amaze Steel. We build a bunch of stadiums around here. Well, it's not around here. Down in New York City, about 6 hours south of me. So it's been pretty cool to go down and see a couple of the stadiums. And I actually got to be in the UBS arena. We talked about that a couple times down here. So I really like that. I don't know. I think that's a personal accomplishment.
You know what? It's an accomplishment itself that you're only 24 years old and you've been someplace 5 years. I'm guaranteeing you right now, any of your 20-year-old friends haven't been anywhere 5 years. Is that right?
Yeah, most of them. Most of them are just
You bounce
starting
around a little bit normally.
somewhere.
I was trying to think about child labor laws in my head. Like, wait a second, 5 years? Jeez.
No, I was 19 when I started.
Thanks everybody for having a good time there. By the way, I did go back to that fair the next year and the clown was no longer there. He was in my head though. He still lives in.
Oh, room
Sure he
free.
was.
So, all right, James, I'll kick it back to you.
Oh, well, we missed two other people's stories. We're going to kick it to Adam from Bama. Adam, what do you got?
What are you doing?
Oh, that's right. Okay, my bad. He's busy. Coach Rosey, any exciting low-key moments?
Yeah,
Right.
Jerry Seinfeld
I
up here,
forgot.
huh? Jerry
If you
Seinfeld.
haven't
over
noticed, for those not watching the video, Rosie and Adam are MIA right now. That may be another ongoing story. Where in the world is Rosie? Because it's going to be a big month for that guy. But, I think we've discussed that thoroughly. So I'm going to kick it out to Mike. Mike, you got anything exciting you want to share?
Well, I had a good weekend. Y'all heard the last episode. I had some family in town. So I did that this weekend, celebrated my daughter's 4th birthday. And just had a big old rainstorm. So life's going good.
And it
I've
kept
seen
the
all those
power.
pictures on Facebook. Look like you
Yeah,
guys had a good
I
time.
was involved. I was having fun. I didn't take no pictures.
Hey, well, we got some nice looking beards on this show, don't we?
I just shaved too, right before this. man, well, good shit, Mike. Good stuff. Brad, so, kind of laying some groundwork on what we got going on today.
So on our 3-part series, oh boy, our 5-part series, well, maybe not. We'll see. So we're in part 4 of our 5-part series, maybe 6, who knows, on women's wrestling. This week is going to be just after Ruthless Aggression, going to be TV, like PG era, reality era, Divas era. It's not really an era, okay? But it's just this time period between maybe 2010, 11 to 2015. And we, of course, are going to touch today on what this leads to with the women's revolution. And we're not going to get totally into the women's revolution, but where we're headed. And Amy actually later on in the episode is going to give us a brief talk on that. So this was a transitional period, 11 to 15. There's some very good. There's some very not so good. We're going to try to cover just mostly the good and speak positive, but there were still some things that it was a step back for a while, and then they kind of started doing better again. So that's basically a rundown of what today's going to be. Divas era, reality era, PG era.
Very good description. I like the way you worded that. So that being said, I guess it's time to start off with match number 1, which is a 4-way elimination match for the TNA Women's Knockout Championship. The participants are Velvet Sky, Gail Kim, Miss, how do you pronounce that? Tessmacher? I didn't watch TNA.
Tessmacher, right?
Yeah.
Miss Tessmacher and Tara is from a TNA Impact that was taped on January 26, 2013. But it aired February 21st, 2013 from the Wembley Arena in London, England. It had a match length of 8:45. And, that's a pretty good intro there. I'll let Brad take it away before I give my comments on it.
Well, I'm actually going to go ahead and kick it to Devyn. Devyn, you're going to do a little bit of a build-up for us here, aren't you?
Yeah. So I got the breakdown on this fatal 4-way matchup. This was actually the final night of TNA's United Kingdom tour in 2013. They decided to have it go off on sort of a bang. They had a couple title matches on this show. This one in particular was for the Knockout Championship. Like James alerted to, Tara is currently the Knockout champion. Velvet Sky had recently returned to TNA following her first run with the Beautiful People. Gail Kim also kind of recently returned from an injury where she'd kind of been just fighting off a couple shoulder and hip pain before this tour. And Miss Tessmacher, actually known as Brooke Tessmacher, but she couldn't go by that name because Brooke Hogan was currently the head of all the Knockouts division. And Brooke is actually the one who set up this match, this fatal 4-way match, with Taryn Terrell as the referee. And
great job, Devyn. Great job. That's tough to do a build-up on a show that's just on regular episodic TV. So very well done. Now, James, did you happen to get the announcers for this?
I did not happen to, because the video I saw was stick figures. I think would be more in depth in HD. The quality I saw of the video was complete trash. But I think there was a good crowd there. Couldn't see them. The match was a very 8-bit, I would say. But no, I did not happen to get those announcers, Brad. That's good note taking.
So everyone in this match is a former Knockout champion at the time. Velvet Sky shaking her ass to the ring was a nice sight. Sorry, Amy, I'm already off to a good start here. Executive in charge, Brooke Hogan. Now, Devyn, tell me a little bit about Brooke Hogan and her role at this time.
She was just the executive of the Knockouts division. Like you said, she was given the spot by her father and Dixie Carter. I was blanking on her name for a second. And she's just given this position to run the entire division.
Have any of you heard from Adam yet? Because there's a few notes that are supposed to go to him. Okay. Anyway, Amy, were you watching TNA during this time?
I was not.
Okay. Now, were you surprised at the referee in this match?
I was fairly disappointed with that outfit.
What was disappointing about it, Amy?
Well, I think I had higher hopes. Again, not really watching TNA as much, but hearing about the knockout division, and and some of the strides that they were making, I just felt like that was to have 4 women in this match for your title, a woman running around in a skimpy Halloween ref costume, just, like it just really kind of showed me that they weren't really serious about women's wrestling, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Now, Devyn, who is this woman?
That is Taryn Terrell.
You know anything about her and her story?
Yeah, actually, Taryn Terrell, she was brought in as a referee by Brooke Hogan. She was assigned to be just a special referee for a bunch of the matches. And then eventually she was asserted the role as an official referee. Taryn actually, she was a wrestler in OVW, trained for a lot of years. A couple years before that, she was in WWE as Tiffany. Then a few months after this match that we currently are covering, she returned back to the ring, continuing her feud that she was building at this time with Gail Kim.
Great. Thank you so much for that. This is an elimination rules match, which is a little different than, of course, a sudden death. In an elimination rules match, each participant, once they're out, the match actually continues until there's one remaining. Now, Mike, do you like this better as an elimination match, or would you rather have a sudden death match?
No, I like this better.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just think it's a better concept of it. I just always like the elimination matches, so I guess I don't know. Really, I have no reason for more besides I just think it's a better concept.
Now, is Adam going to participate here, or is he just going to be the Kick Out Cruise symbol going up? Adam, is that you?
I'm not going to do my video.
Why? Are you naked?
Don't worry about it.
I want to worry because I've been stalling because I have questions for you.
Go ahead.
All right. You don't have to get mad about it. You don't have to get hot about it.
There's no power.
All right, Adam. So anyway, there's a lot of quick roll-up pins and alliances during this match. What do you think of having an alliance during an elimination match like this?
Well, considering it was only like a 10-minute match, I don't think it was needed in this one. But I mean, I understand you're going to have 2 heels. Usually it's a 2 heel, 2 babyface type deal. So every now and then you'll have the 2 heels working against each other or working with each other. But at the end of the day, they're always going to counteract each other. But I don't mind it. I mean, it gives a little bit more entertainment in the match.
So the moves are fine here for a little while. Nothing spectacular right away. And one of the things we do talk about often is the time in these matches. Amy, at what point do you think they had enough time? Do you actually think they had enough time in this match to tell the story?
Obviously, I would always advocate for probably more time. I mean, you have 4 women, and it's an elimination match. So basically, you're looking at like 2.5 minutes per elimination at that point. It's moving very quickly. I don't really feel like there was much of a story. Now it is, so I looked at the time of the matches, and the most was given to the 4-man tag that they had that night. It was 12 minutes and something. And then Aces and Eights and versus Sting and somebody else I forgot, sorry, was 11 minutes. And then this one came in at 8 minutes. No, I don't think so because, because I think the first elimination happened really quick. Like if you're in there, you could see eliminations maybe going faster towards the 3rd and 4th one because they've been in there a while and different people have been beating on them and they're tired. But I felt like that first I just felt like it kind of moved really quickly for women who were fighting, and the champion is the one who got eliminated first.
Oh, you're stepping on the next ab. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Oh,
God forbid I go
so
over the notes, right? God forbid I have to go change it up.
No, I was just going to say that, I didn't even really feel like, and again, maybe it was the crowd. I didn't watch the stick figure one. I actually watched the humans. So I just didn't feel like there was like, oh my God, we're getting a new champion. And then something between the three women left in the ring, like the urgency to, I want to win and be, I don't know. It just wasn't, I wish it was different. I wish it had more time maybe to get a little bit of a crescendo, going, especially towards the end when you knew one of these women that you were going to have a new women's knockout title holder. I just didn't really feel that in that match. And like I said, 8 minutes and 45 seconds, like that's really hard to tell that kind of story. I think
you're right. You're exactly right. I mean, why even have a match like this if it's only going to be 8 minutes? You don't need to have. It just doesn't make sense. That part did not make sense. Now to my next point, James, were you excited? Did you think it added to it that the champion was actually eliminated first?
I see the point of it, to add some excitement, but kind of what we're doubling back to, like it didn't seem like a big ordeal to anyone else that was in attendance for sure. And I kind of, that to reiterate, I guess that point, we hear about the knockouts division all the time, how great they were, definitely looking back in hindsight. But then like Amy brought out, you have a match like this and your ref wearing something like that when you're trying to legitimize like, hey, this is the best division. This is the best division. And then it just kind of looks like some of that Attitude Era type of stuff where it's just real quick, real kind of floppy-ish. So I don't know. Maybe the crowd saw through it. Maybe they didn't know the people. I don't know what to say, but something was off. But eliminating the champ first, I do think kind of adds a little excitement. You figure that would be something the crowd would get into, but I don't know what happened with that.
And that was Tara. Tara is the champion. Victoria from the WWE, for all of you at home that have only watched WWE. And she was rolled up by Gail Kim pinned her. I mean, not rolled her up. But there was a moment here where there's a terrific moonsault by Victoria Tara. I thought that was very impressive. After I say that, I actually write here, the moves are fine, nothing spectacular. Then that moonsault happened. And then Velvet Sky hit that was a pedigree all day long on Tara, Victoria from Velvet Sky. They may call it something, double arms, whatever it is. But we call it the pedigree from Triple H. And then
in your face.
Gail Kim pins Tara, and then now right away you have a new champion. There was the 3-woman suplex off the top turnbuckle, was very impressive. Adam, do you know anything about Velvet Sky? Do you know anything about her? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
I know she's pretty.
But she's never had a WWE run. What do you think held her back?
I think maybe she was just happy at TNA or Impact. I mean, because she was treated as one of the big fish in the small pond type deal. So maybe she just enjoyed being one of the top gals at Impact. Maybe she just got the chance to go, just never wanted to.
I kind of agree. Like that, I say that about a guy like, I don't know if you guys are watching current Impact at all, but Chris Sabin's been around for a long, long time. And I always thought, why has he never had a run? And according to Jeff Jarrett, he didn't need one. He was happy where he was at. So that's a very good answer. Now, Sky eliminates Tessmacher with a roll up. And now you have Gail Kim and you have Velvet Sky left remaining. Is Gail Kim, Devyn, is she the face of TNA?
Yeah, I definitely believe she is in the knockouts division, for sure. I think in the males division, I think that has to go to AJ Styles at this time.
He betrayed them though.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you want to hear a little more about Gail Kim, she was actually on Reffing It Up with Brian Heaven this year and our friend RJ. About an hour interview almost with her. So it was very good. She's actually been on that show twice already. She's only got about 10 episodes. So that's saying something, huh? Way to go, RJ. Now, Mike, who did you think the heel was in this match? And for those of you at home that don't remember, heel is bad guy.
Well, I kind of figured Victoria, whatever her name was there. I thought she was one of them. But out of everybody else, I really didn't know. I didn't pay attention to TNA back then.
Okay. when I wasn't either, but at the time I thought Gail Kim was getting a lot more boos than she was cheers, and a lot of people were really behind Velvet Sky. So the referee threw down together off the ropes, or I'm sorry, jeez, oh man, Brad, way to go here. Threw Kim off the rope. Velvet capitalized with a pedigree. New champion, Velvet Sky. Hogan approves. James, again, this question is for nothing now because you watched a damn stick figure match. What'd you think of the crowd reaction? What do you mean a stick figure match? What
it wasn't okay.
Doing?
I mean, come on now, kayfabe a little bit. It wasn't a stick figure. It's not like I watched a drawing rendition of it.
You can get those, and you know it.
Hey, that's probably true. Actually, I need to look into that. But like I said, man, it just didn't seem to hit. You know, I love the crowd reaction. I mean, obviously, people make fun of like, oh, AEW fans just pop for anything. Well, go to an AEW show, man. It's a lot of fun. Like, it's cool to pop for the good stuff. I don't know why that's hated. You know, you're there to have fun and cheer. I don't get it. But yeah, like, you know, but that crowd, just, I don't know the order of the card that night. Maybe I should have looked at that because what? Well, no, that was right at the beginning, I think, wasn't it? Or one of the first ones?
I think it was middle.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't get the reaction. I don't get the deadness of it.
Hey, guess what my last question was? Very good match, but was it too short, Adam? I think we beat that to death, huh?
Yeah, it was. I mean, because you've got two really amazing women wrestlers, and the Velvet Sky, she was doing good right around this time. I wasn't too familiar with Brooke. What's her last name?
Hogan. I'm kidding with you. That's Mocker, yes.
But no, I mean, anytime you got Gail Kim and Tara, they deserve at least 15 minutes just for them two. And Gail Kim working heel right here because she's grabbing the ropes during the pinfalls and whatnot. I mean, she's definitely the face of Impact Wrestling. Even though she was working heel, I still love Gail Kim. She's still one of my top 3 women wrestlers.
I love her too. You know who Velvet Sky's dating or I don't know, with, by the way?
It used to be Bubba Ray Dudley.
Yeah, how about that? Good for him.
Every Peter Griffin needs a Lois, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, talking about out kicking your coverage, brother.
Yeah, right? You just talk about her on Busted Up. I'm like, you? Oh, I don't want to piss you off, Bubba. All right? I don't want to piss you off. I mean,
he'll let you know
catch,
for sure.
He'll come find me.
Bully Ray. Ray and Velvet commentating for the NWA now.
Look at you with your NWA knowledge. I'm so proud of you.
I love the NWA. I watch every week.
It makes
Velvet,
zero sense.
she's one of my favorite commentators.
None. No music, no nothing. 24-year-old kid watching NWA. What
I
else?
love it. Trevor Murdoch.
Did you watch any Benny Hill this week? Did you watch any of that?
Actually, Zol Lopez
no.
tagged me in a post. Benny Hill.
That post is hilarious.
Shout out to Zol.
Oh yeah, shout out to Zol, freaking correcting us on everything we freaking do. All right, we get it. She wasn't in Adventures in Babysitting. All right, we got it. Elizabeth Banks, we got it. Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, Bober got us on one too.
Yeah, I didn't even remember even hearing it.
To our listeners, we're gonna play a game called Spot the Mistake, and if you spot the mistake, you win absolutely nothing. But speaking of our fans, Brad, are there any questions relating to this match?
Oh shit! You know I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Right. Thanks, James.
You're welcome.
Put everybody uncomfortably on the spot.
Questions throughout the matches.
Well, I don't see any on this particular one. No, did you?
I
didn't see anything on this particular match, so I think we're good for now.
I don't recall either.
So we're good for that. Well, we will ask some questions for Rob, and thank you for reminding me because I do tend to forget. And I'm the one that asks for them. Amy, did you have any questions to your particular on this match?
I did. You know, one thing that I did like that I had wrote for my notes. I think someone said it earlier. I definitely think Victoria / Tara TNA was where she kind of came in her own versus Victoria in the WWFE, whatever it was. I do like this Tara character that she was portraying. I feel like probably like maybe Adam was saying about Velvet Sky. You know, sometimes it's okay to be that big fish in a small pond. And so I really think maybe she maybe gained some ground there. I thought the women sold pretty well. Like, nothing drives me crazy. And I see this maybe too much in current wrestling in one particular show that I do like watching, but I hate whenever they, do a whatever 600-degree splash onto a table on the outside, and then they pop up and, like there's no selling of an injury. If someone hits you, if someone throws you off the top rope, it's going to hurt a little bit. I mean, you don't have to act like your spine snapped, but you do need to show me that what is happening in the ring is a true contest. And I did think, and when you're talking about the suplex, double, whatever it was, the triple suplex where somebody that was in the corner. Y'all remember what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every one of those women sold. And, again, you're getting thrown onto a mat in a wrestling match for the title. People need to be coming 100% with their game. And I like that they were selling, they were trying to get a cover. Again, sometimes I feel like we see too many, I got to get my moves, do this. Like, the point of being in the ring is to win that match. And so we see this a little bit more. I noticed that in the other matches that we picked, but especially when the title's up for grabs, they're trying to get a pin. It's not about, I got to make sure I do my, my backflip off the top rope. It's, I want to win this belt. And I think some of that's lost a little bit now. And it could just be evolution of wrestling and the people who are watching and what they like to watch and that. But, there's again, I go back to that 80s baby, and I was actually born in the 70s. So I'm not trying, I'm just saying.
76. Woo!
Woohoo! Just so you all know, my birthday's this month. So in a few weeks, I will be the big 46. So
welcome.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
And Adam's birthday is in 2 days. Go ahead.
Do what?
Adam's birthday is in 2 days too, right, Adam?
Yes.
I'll be 38 this weekend.
I was going to say,
Woo!
nothing makes me feel good knowing that Devyn could be giving me grandchildren because he could be my child. James is really tapping. If I was, maybe a young mother, I definitely could have had James. Adam and Mike are kind of sitting in that. They're probably my younger brothers. They're not really my
8 years old. You're good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're not, they're kind of treading on that. They're my younger brothers, and then
Yeah, you're my
Brad.
older sister, definitely older sister.
But so I do like I said, I know that some of the stuff that I really enjoy is kind of archaic. I don't expect people to sit there and watch a headlock for 30 seconds, believe that a body slam can cause a pin. I do get that, but having said that, there is something about, I know it's not real. I know that it is, already predetermined, as I like to say to my family, because if they want to aggravate me, they will say wrestling is fake. And I say,
Jesus, don't say that word.
I know. Well, I know you don't like
Drink
that,
7.
Adam. But
Drink 7.
Adam has actually met my family, and they're just, if they want to aggravate me, that's what they'll say. No, it's predetermined. But still make me want to watch it. Still, put that effort out for me, I guess. I know that The Boys, if you watch that on Amazon Prime, you might be shocked. I watched that. I know that's not real, but by God, they make me believe it could be. No.
By the way,
I know
you're older
Batman's
than
not real. I
you're
love
older than
Batman. I
his
know he's
parents.
not real.
That's right. Exactly. I mean, movies are like that. I know movies are not real, but they try to sell it like it is, so that, again, we watch wrestling to get away. we watch wrestling because we enjoy it, you know. And if you're like me, I've watched wrestling forever, you know, and it makes me happy. You know, I mean, those are happy memories watching with family members who maybe are not here anymore. And, you know, I mean, that just wrestling really conjures up good feelings for me. And so I don't like being aggravated at it, but sometimes I can be. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll step back.
You're good. But I did want you to know you're older than Devyn's parents.
Oh, I know. I've heard this. I listen.
I
I
always
know.
have to make sure you always hear it again because I have to hear it.
Okay. Okay. Hey, I said I'm here to help you for the older generation, so that's fine. Oh, believe me. Oh, I know. I know. Devyn, James Soren, Brandy. I mean, like I said, several. I could have several children. Money Mike. I could have several of these.
And then for some reason, Ed Prather, who's 2 years older than you.
Right. Exactly. I am his mama bear. So.
Thank you so much, Amy. What's next on the agenda there, James?
Well, I like how Amy was talking about like legitimacy about you know, belts meant something. So, you know, as we've been talking about this, I don't want to use I don't know a better term, but they've kind of bastardized championships moving forward. And I think that's why people look back on the other stuff as you know, it meant something and you felt like the belt mattered. Like you said, it wasn't about, oh, I got to make sure I do my, you know, flippy flop, whatever. I have to win this match because I want that belt. Like that's what we all love about wrestling. When someone goes for the belt, that's why we love the chase for the title. But you know, I think it has transitioned away a little bit. You know, maybe some promotions trying to bring that back. Who knows? But enough about that because we're gonna kick it right back to Amy because I want to hear about you know, how you from well, the Divas to the Women's Revolution kind of has to deal with some of that. You know, gimmicky to, all right, now it's time. Like, this is a legit, you know, it's go time. So,
Amy, it's your show.
Oh, yeah. Take it away. This is all you. I love it.
You know, what I think is really interesting, if you look back at the 80s, again, I'm going back to the 80s, sorry. You look at Moolah, you look at Rockin' Robin, you look at even Lalani Kai, you look at some of the women who were considered the jumping bomb angels. You know, you look at these women, they were there to wrestle. They did not have, you know, sparkly. I mean, they were all very presentable, beautiful women, but not you know, the outfits that we saw. I mean, basically they looked like they're wearing one-piece bathing suits, and you know, it wasn't what we see or have seen in the past. And so then, you know, it kind of all went away. You had Medusa. You know, if you look at a Medusa from, you know, after you kind of leave that 80s and you know, the belt, they, you know, didn't have they actually had tag team women's title belts. You know, if you remember seeing WrestleMania 1, I think. Is that right?
They'll correct you if you're wrong. Will correct you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm hoping.
Like, no.
So if I'm going to speak very vague then. When they were in that WrestleMania, so I don't remember. Yeah, but, you know, they used to have, I would say they used to have tag team belts. But all that kind of went away. And then you start getting women who wanted to be wrestlers. And they were very far between. You know, again, you had a Medusa who was willing to fight. You know, it wasn't hair pulling. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't the smacking and, you know, it wasn't that. It was, again, it was for a belt. It was for moving up in the ranks. It meant something. And I feel like as we have been progressing throughout this time period, you start seeing glimpses of that. It's never a full, you know, a full roster, I guess you could say, of that. You always see these little glimpses. And you all had talked a lot about Molly Holly. You talked about Natalia. You talk about China. I mean, and we'll talk a little bit more about China later. in a lot of ways, I feel like China was really instrumental in kind of helping push that, because she wasn't just a physically fit woman. She was the ninth wonder of the world. And she was in a very prominent position, and she fought men. And honestly, if you looked at her, I didn't feel like that was so far off. She wasn't fighting Big Show and body slamming them. And, I mean, who they put her with physically was about her height and size. And, so I mean, again, it's not like she was teeing off against Hulk Hogan, who would outweigh her by 100 pounds and, 8 inches taller. But you start seeing these little bits, a Gail Kim, you start seeing women who became wrestlers because they wanted to wrestle versus maybe wanting to be seen, or someone offered them a job, or they wanted to be a sports entertainer. Like there's all different avenues. A lot of people probably looked at the WWE or wrestling as a launching off pad. Like, that was a first step, not an end step. But I feel like you're really starting to see more, and it's more of accelerating. You're seeing women that the final step is the WWE, AEW, Impact, MLW, Shimmer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where they want to be. It's not their starting point, it's their end point. And I mean, there's definitely still work that can be done. All women don't hate each other. We don't have to, we don't have to fight just because you looked at me funny, or you stole my boyfriend, or whatever some of the dumb things. I feel like that's even getting better. Like, I feel like what I would hope is that Becky Lynch, and it is definitely getting there, Becky Lynch is looked at no different than her husband, Seth Rollins. They are wrestlers, and they are champions. And it's not, she's a woman wrestler, he's a male wrestler. When they're on the show or whatever they're out doing, they're both very much a product of WWE. And so that's eventually, that's what I want it to get to. So when we're not saying, well, it's a girls match, so we're only going to give them 5 minutes. It's, this match is for the title, so they get 15 minutes versus if it's the male title, female, tag teams, whatever. So we are getting there. And it definitely took a leap at the Women's Revolution, I think. But again, WWE, the women had to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the women that wanted to be wrestlers, they had to be there. And so, again, you're also seeing women who, with the internet, I think you all talked about this on the podcast that came out last week. Coach asked, what was the, what app came out in 2005? Mm-hmm. And it was YouTube. So for a lot of people, and again, Brad can attest, we were tape traders. Okay. We had this thing called a VHS. Now hang on to the rope, Devyn. Okay. I know these are all these are not going to be anything.
On VHS.
Yeah, Devyn posted some BS Twitter photo earlier, but we'll let that one slide.
Oh, okay.
That's how I grew up on VHS.
Hang on to the rope, Devyn. Love it.
Yes. Hang on to the rope. That's what my teacher, my Latin teacher of all things, told me. Hang on to the rope.
Latin? I took Latin too. Look at us.
Oh, that's what you did. But we were tape traders, and unless I knew someone who knew somebody who had some All Japan or I'm never going to see that. And again, I know this Blockbuster, your video stores on Friday night, you go and you get a videotape and you watch it into, that's how we saw things. But then when YouTube came about, and like Coach told us in 2005, everybody had a chance to see everything, and so I hope that also helped institute some of those younger women or girls who, who watched it and was mesmerized. You hear Sasha Banks talk about Eddie Guerrero, and you hear some of these girls, I mean, obviously Natalia Hart, all her family, like you hear them talk about people that they saw and that they emulated. YouTube was probably a big proponent of that, of being able to see those kind of things. And I also think as time has gone on, we've looked at women differently. We've looked at women as being able to do things, whether it play basketball, you've got the WNBA, professional soccer teams, you've got business and executive positions. And, I feel like the role of a woman's what they were thought to be able to do had changed too. Some of those, sometimes people think, women can be teachers, nurses, the caring roles, that seems like maybe more women would gravitate towards that if they worked outside the home. Again, all of that has kind of started changing, and there was no reason why strong women couldn't be part of wrestling. And I do think that we are seeing all of that. When you have someone who wants to be a wrestler, they're going to put 110% in, and they're going to do everything that they can because that's their dream, not to be famous. And this might be a launching pad. Like you could see where the difference, you all talked last week about Molly Holly shaving her, offering to shave her head. Now you think about that roster at that time. How many women would do that? Exactly. Because some of them aren't there to be wrestlers. They're there to be pretty. They're there to be seen. Mm-hmm. They're there to be sexual objects to bring in young males, which again, whatever. It was the time, I mean, do I like bra and panty matches? No. Do I think they're kind of demeaning? Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what they're going for, young males, not embryos, Devyn, but like young males like James and Mike and Adam were. You know what I'm saying? I get that. Sex sells. I mean, you can't have commercials these days that don't have some kind of weird, trying to sell me whatever, a mattress, and it's, got to be all sexy. And it just, I think that's overdone. But anyway, we definitely start seeing steps, and we will definitely, I feel like we've seen it in, like I said, we know Gail Kim, Velvet Sky, Tess Mocker, Tara, they were good workers. You didn't see a lot of hair pulling and a lot of just ridiculousness in the ring. We saw moves. We saw a suplex, so you are starting to see evolution of what we kind of have now and what we hope to have now, where it's just good wrestling and not so much categorized by men, women, whatever. It's just good wrestling. Ta-da.
To your point, I want to mention something that kind of doubles back on that, where you made your Becky and Seth thing. You noticed, like how you said, to legitimize it, they say WWE superstar. They don't say female WWE superstar, male. They just categorize them both together, which I think, slowly but surely, that's kind of one of those things where as long as you don't say female WWE superstar, they're going to put them on the same playing field because you're not differentiating between the two. They're both, like women and men wrestlers are both great, not just one and the other.
Right. And I think too, it helps that they're saying that about Becky Lynch, someone who is very proven in the ring to be a wrestling superstar. It might quantify it a little bit down if they were like, and again, no disrespect, but it was just the time period, superstar Kelly and superstar Seth Rollins. It's almost like they're putting them on the same playing field, and they're not. Yeah. But by saying Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, like you said, WWE superstars, you know, you're putting them both in the same category as they should be. They're both very dominant, very seasoned, and very good at what they do. So,
And I also noticed, and like within the past couple weeks, they're starting to do that again now with the title. Because when Ronda had it, she called it the SmackDown World title. She didn't say women. And the announcers said it a couple of times, and they go to women a couple of times. So they're starting now to kind of call it both. They're not calling it just the SmackDown Women's title or the Raw Women's title. They're calling it the World title. So they're kind of, I think they're going to start getting that a little bit more and more. And I'll say within the next couple months or so, that's what it's going to be called for good.
Yeah, it's almost redundant. If Ronda Rousey's holding it, then you know she's a woman, you know, so like you said. But you're right. I mean, it's like kind of getting away from being so departmentalized.
Well, and then on SmackDown, I know by the time this airs, it's old hat, but on SmackDown, we had women wrestle for a belt, and then we had men come out and model. So there's a lot going on in the wrestling world, you know?
That's very true.
Yeah.
Amy, I have to say, I know we're really keeping going here, but when you were saying about going to Blockbuster and stuff like that, I'm going to take it even further back for you. Early 80s, once a year, and I tell this story a lot, but not on here, I haven't. Wizard of Oz was on once a year.
Yes.
And we had oh yeah, Devyn, I know. Hold on to your rope. That's the new one now.
Hold on to the rope.
So once a year.
Wait. Do you know what the Wizard of Oz is, Devyn? Not that one with James, what's his name?
Franco?
Yes, not the one with James Franco. Do you know the Wizard of Oz movie?
Yeah, my grandma made me watch the Wizard of Oz
Lord,
multiple
okay.
times
We don't need to know about your grandma telling you that. Just, yes is the answer.
So there was 4 channels back then. I had 4 channels: ABC, NBC, CBS, and maybe a PBS. And once a year, the Wizard of Oz would be on. Now it was in our house. It was a big deal. We would all pop popcorn. My dad made milkshakes, and it was an event. We all sat down in front of the TV and watched it. And if you didn't see it, guess what? That was it for a year. You did not get to see it that year. And there were commercial breaks, and you ran to the bathroom. And the minute you heard that song come back, you ran back.
Wait, Devyn, are you familiar with commercial breaks? Do you know what those were?
You couldn't pause back then. You couldn't.
I just want to make sure. Yeah, there was no. We were the remote. There was no stopping okay. I just want to make sure Devyn is really fully understanding commercial break.
So
people fighting for the bathroom on the commercial so they don't miss nothing.
Jumping over the couch so you're. Woo, I'm back. No.
Why do you say that? Because my little brothers call commercials ads.
I don't even know.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know what, so anyway, but I remember times when I would be punished for something, or, that was a big deal to miss that. It was a really big deal. So you don't have a clue, dude. You don't have a clue. All right. And my kids don't have a clue.
No, I do have a question, Brad.
Okay, great. Adam.
Did your milkshake bring all the boys to the yard?
Damn right.
Speaking of milkshakes, you want another spicy thing queued up on the old outline.
So, Amy, I wasn't going to do this week, but you said, do what you do. It's your show.
That's right. It's your show. I don't want it to change for me.
And
I can handle myself.
Normally on this
pronouns,
show,
Amy. Who is the your you talk to?
You meant all of us.
Oh, Brad.
I said you're all. You got to remember, in Kentucky, you're all. That's all y'all. No.
So normally I'm every other week with the FMKs, but we don't want you to feel left out. Now, there's going to be the male and female FMKs as always. However, at the end, there is a special Amy only FMK, and you're not going to be able to do it, period. And we know that, right, James?
Oh, it's going to be great.
I have a huge feeling. I know it's Arn. So
all right, let's skip right to it. Let's skip right to Amy's. No. So we're going to keep it simple this week again, because we're going to talk about, because actually Team CBP, who is Charlotte, Becky, and Paige, were not quite the Revolution yet, even though they kind of announced them as the Revolution. We're still in the Divas era. We're not quite there yet. So we are going to go ahead with Charlotte, FMK, F Mary Kill, Charlotte, Paige, Becky Lynch, Devyn. You're first, you young buck.
All right. So you make me go first again, like always.
All the time.
All right. So here's a special shout out to my buddy Money Mike, because I'm not choosing his girl Charlotte for anything other than to kill.
Oh man! All right.
Much for our questions.
Yeah, sorry. But and I would marry Paige, because personally when I was younger I had a wicked crush on her. And then that means that I guess I guess I'm gonna F Becky.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it either.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to clip that and be like, hey Erica, did you hear what Devyn said?
She'd probably join.
Yeah. Oh,
Jesus
There you go.
Jones.
talk slower, huh?
Something new.
All right. Adam, the man behind the picture, you're next.
Well, that's easy. You got to kill Charlotte, and you can F and marry either one of them because the accent is amazing. So I would marry Paige and F Becky, or vice versa. Either one. I'm good with either one.
So where the hell's Coach? He said 8
He's
o'clock.
been everywhere, man. He's been everywhere.
You think when he said 8 o'clock, he meant Adam's time?
He said 8 o'clock Eastern, and spoiler, it's way past that. Kayfabe out there to all y'all listening.
All right, Mike. First off, get yourself situated.
I'm good.
Stare at the ceiling
And think.
and tell me what you're thinking.
I already got this figured out.
I know you.
I'm gonna kill Becky. Why? I have no idea.
No, come on, man. Why?
No, I don't know because I got my plan. I'm gonna F Paige because she's a little freak, and I'll marry Charlotte because then I'm gonna be related to Conrad.
There you go.
All right.
So there you go. That was easy for me.
James?
Well, I'm about to switch it up here on everybody. So here's the thing.
Okay.
I know y'all are all giving a fucking Charlotte grief, and I kind of believe that's bullshit, but I know it's not based on wrestling talent, which we all know. One of the top in the game right now.
Absolutely.
God, this is gonna hurt me to say it, but I guess I'm gonna kill Paige. I really want to marry Charlotte for sure, but I think it's just gonna be I'm killing Paige, fucking Charlotte, and I'm marrying Becky because that accent is something else. I think she's beautiful. She's a lass kicker for sure. She's an ass kicker, powerful woman. I mean, like, I could go on and on. Becky's legit. I know that we may talk about a Becky match coming up soon, and I will definitely fanboy all over that one because I'm a big fan of Becky. Not current Becky. Her hairstyle and all this little bullshit's a little weird for me, but she can still wrestle. She can still go. So,
Amy, what do you got?
All right. So I'm kind of, some of you all may know, I totally fangirl over Adam O'Neill because he has the greatest accent ever. And every time we do a Zoom, I always ask him in the chat, are you asking a question?
That's why?
every single Zoom.
I knew you asked. I didn't know why.
Hey, it's been a running storyline, man. It's been a running storyline for a while now.
It is. And it never fails to be like, no, I don't have one. I'll be like, damn. And every time I'm not on is when he's like having a 50, paragraph conversation. I get very aggravated with him about that. But so for that solely, Charlotte has to go. She can't be the two that stay alive. I think Paige might. I do like that English accent versus the Irish. So now I've got to really start thinking because Adam O'Neill's Irish.
I'm about to say, boy, can't wait for him to hear that.
I think I'm going to have to marry.
Friend of the show.
I'm going to have to marry Becky and have some fun with Paige and let Charlotte go. So that's what I'm going to do.
See how
So
she
I'll have a little Adam O'Neill all day. No,
no F-bombs, anything like that. We appreciate you, Amy.
no, I can drop them as needed, but I just didn't think that
Well,
was.
just drink a little more whiskey. We'll see what happens. Okay. Or bourbon. I'm sorry. Bourbon. I mean,
Two
piss
very
off.
attractive
Woodford.
redhead women marrying. That would be see. Can't argue with that.
So all right. I'm going to,
Here we go.
see, I don't like the Irish accent.
Here we
And I'm
go.
Irish. I'm not a fan of the Irish accent. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I also don't like Becky when she has her hair up like that with that big beehive. I don't know what that is. No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested at all. She doesn't do it for me. I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fuck Paige. We know she's been into some shit, and we know she knows what she's doing. I don't know if she's the marrying kind though.
Are you saying you've seen her work? Is that what you're trying to say?
I have.
Shout
I
out to
have
Brad
actually-
Maddox.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in with that. I'm
Mr.
gonna
Up,
marry,
Up, Down, Down himself.
I'm gonna marry Charlotte for a similar reason to Mike Whitaker, except I mean, yeah, I like Conrad, and it'd be great to hang out with him, but don't we get to hang out with Ric Flair too?
If you're lucky.
I think we do, maybe. Well, if it's once a year, it's one more time a year than I'm doing right now. Right now, I got to pay $100 probably, right?
Well,
So-
we're not all as cool as Amy. Shout out to that picture last year, Top Guy Weekend.
Heck yeah. That was great. We just stumbled upon the whole roster. It was fabulous.
Just stumbled, huh?
Adam was there. Yeah. And that's all we're
Yeah,
going to
and-
talk about.
I remember my trip though. That was great.
I was going to say, that's all we're talking. That's all that's going to be discussed. It was fabulous. We got to meet everybody.
So now the gentleman, which is a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
We are going to go with significant others, maybe past and present of these three ladies. So Charlotte Flair, we're going to go with Andrade. With
Muerte.
Paige, we're not going anything current. We're going to go with Alberto Del Rio. It happened. It happened. Her dad
Yeah.
didn't like it, but it happened.
Hmm.
And with Becky Lynch, I guess you got to go with Seth Rollins. So, Devyn, what are we doing?
So Andrade, Seth Rollins, and Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, what were you, 7 when he was out?
I'm killing Alberto Del Rio. Was never a fan of him right off the bat. I'm gonna go with my favorite person in WWE is who I'll marry, and that's Seth freaking Rollins. And then that just leaves arguably the sexiest man on the planet, Andrade, who I have to fuck. So
Have to, huh?
Okay.
You just have to.
Oh,
have
shucks.
to.
Gotta fuck one of the sexiest men.
I'm sure he appreciates it.
He will.
Adam,
I think I'm effing Andrade. I'm killing Alberto Del Rio before he kills me. And then I guess I'll marry Seth.
is Alberto Del Rio a contract killer?
No, but I know he likes to beat on folks and he's bigger than me.
Oh man, this took a turn. Didn't it take a turn? See, I don't think of these things when I'm writing this shit down.
Yeah, once you chose his name, I'm like, well, boy, I know who's getting killed every time.
Well, now I know. Forgot. Mike Whitaker.
Well, I guess I'm going with the same as the other guys. I'm gonna kill Alberto, F Andrade, and marry Seth because Seth freaking Rollins. So
All right, well, this is fucking lackluster. All right,
I
ready,
ain't
guys?
got
I'm
nothing,
gonna just
guys.
do these three things.
when you read
Go
the
read
first
them
name,
all.
Andrade, I wanted to kill Andrade because he is married to Charlotte. And, that's just, petty because I think the world of Charlotte too. Obviously, Alberto is a certain type of man that I believe we're all going to kill if some of his past transgressions for sure. It is what it is, I guess. Because I would have killed Andrade for sure. But I guess I'm fucking him because, I'm not marrying him because, a second ago I wanted to kill him. So, and then I guess marrying Seth, he is, I would say, the more successful of the three. And, Burn it down, I guess. I don't know.
All right, Amy.
All right, I am with everybody. Alberto. It's okay. But I am flipping. Because I just don't know if I can be married to Seth Rollins. Like the dancing and all the goofy, I just can't, I don't think I can handle that. So he will be for me for one night, and then I'm going to bring Andrade home.
You know, can you picture Seth Rollins kicking down the door of the bedroom and that music starts? Whoa!
That's why you need that. Burn it down!
He's like, oh my gosh, just go to fucking bed, dickhead. You know, something like that. Because
you're drunk. Go to bed.
Yeah. With his Riddler
he
out.
He goes in there like putting his jacket like that, high stepping and all that Prince and stuff.
And he's like,
yeah.
You know. All right, so that's right there. I'm marrying him for that reason. I want him to dress like that every night.
He walks in and shows you a sledgehammer. They're like, hey, man, put that thing away.
I got a headache. All right, huh? Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and marry Seth Rollins. All right, I'm going to live in a world where everybody's good. And I'm going to fuck Alberto Del Rio. I think he's a handsome man, you know.
And maybe he does deserve that. Maybe he does deserve to get fucked. So you may be on something, Brad.
And then I just can't. I can't be anywhere near Andrade. He makes my skin crawl. I don't think he's the sexiest man alive at all. He doesn't do it for me. And I didn't like that he took over the Hardy family office. It just made no sense. Storyline was bad. Not interested. For those of you at home that maybe aren't wrestling fans, we got a little deep there. But so
don't know the storyline.
Amy, what do you think it is, huh?
I think Arn has to be in there. I think FTR has to be in there.
FTR is two people.
Huh?
FTR is two people. They don't count as one. So that's what it is.
You know what that means? Amy, FMK, Arn,
Ash Wheeler, Jack Harwood.
Well,
This sounds easy. She thinks it's easy.
Well, I will say this, and the only person who might be able to I don't know, Devyn and Mike, you may be able to appreciate this, but Cash Wheeler is on my hall pass list.
All right, you're talking about is that like so that's like a Friends laminated thing with the top 5 people you're allowed to sleep with?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's his name 5 times. No, just kidding. My husband, in the beginning, my husband was like, oh yeah, sure. Then I start going to these wrestling things and I get pictures with them. And now he's a little bit more like, let's talk. You don't really you're not really, right? Hey, I don't know what I'd do at that moment. I ain't gonna lie. No, but it ain't gonna happen. So I'm not his type. There's a lot more younger, I'm sure. But anyway.
Well, wait a minute. Sean is 6'7".
Yeah, Adam's met him. If I have to kill Dash, it's after if I have to kill Dax, it's after I have my way with them. Because I'm marrying Arn. It is what it is. What, do you think I was going to kill Arn?
No, we honestly didn't know which way. Like,
first off,
your brain was just going
to Are you having sex with them and then killing them after? So you're sleeping with all of them.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Even the ones you're having sex, but then you're killing one right after you have sex. This is
well, I have
to. Like a praying mantis.
Stay my side piece. I don't care.
So you're killing one, but you're having sex with them first. I'm getting that straight.
Yes, because you told me I had to eliminate one of them.
But I didn't say. I guess you can have sex with whoever you want, huh?
Yeah,
But you're saying this was nonchalantly, like you've never played the game before.
On this.
You're
but I'm not going to
kill one without having sex. That's the game. That's the game. You got to kill one. Only, no sex. Who is it?
No, that's not the rules of the game.
That is the rules of the game.
No, it's who do you want to do? Who do you want to marry? Who do you want to kill? There is no time limit. You never set a time limit.
This is my game.
I'm gonna keep Arn until he dies. I'll keep Cash until he goes, and I'll take care of Dax. I don't understand the problem.
I think Amy won FMK.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you
They've
something.
Changed all of you understand now you're going to change all FMKs forever. Because
Well,
now
no.
everyone's going to say, well, I'm going to just fuck him right after I kill him. I'm going to, whatever. No, I
Right
can't.
after? Gee, now we're talking necrophilia.
How about
I'm just saying, Brad, if you give me Arn and FTR, I will find a way. It is what it is.
If they gave you
That's
Arn
fair.
and FTR,
That's
we'd never
fair.
see you again.
I think FTR should be counted as one group because they're
You are a
tag teams,
guest.
and that's
You're a
who I
guest.
will marry, and then I'll just have my way with Arn. I might kill him, so I don't know how his heart is.
Right. He might be one and done anyway.
I might be a widow, so then I automatically killed him, so then I can just bring Dax in, right?
Arn does listen. I hope he doesn't.
However you want to word it, it's up to you.
Arn knows I love him. He
Yeah.
is, you guys, I know you know this. He loves his fans, and it comes across so well. He is so nice. He really, really is. And that's why I would never kill him.
On
purpose.
Revolution weekend, I got to talk to his wife. But she was at the pool and at the same hotel we were at. And me and friends of the show, Megan Nelson, were talking to her, and she was just beaming about how like Arn is really loving it right now, hanging out with Brock all the time. He's doing his thing with AEW. He's just like on cloud nine, pretty much, is how she worded it.
Well, and you know what? I know some of you all, I don't know if you were on the Zoom with Road Dogg, but he was also one of those that like you could tell he's super excited about talking to us. I understand sometimes we're just like a penciled in, like for the top guys, we're just we're just a scheduled time. And so, but there are some, and I really feel like Road Dogg was like that. He really enjoyed hearing people and talking to them. And he's like, I can't wait to come back. And I truly believe that. I don't feel like he was just saying that. I really do think he's excited to talk to his friends. But Arn, I love you and I would never hurt you. But Cash is on my.
We're going to let this happen just because you're a guest, okay? We're going to let that happen. But you did change the rules to the game, and there's going to be a lot of questions later.
Well, you know what, Brad? Explain your game better. Don't blame me.
Fuck, marry, kill.
No
That's
time
the
limit,
game.
Brad.
You have one choice for each. That's
Okay, you did not say that.
I didn't invent the game.
Then don't get mad. How do you know that wasn't the real intention? How do you know? You don't.
All righty, first time stumped. James, we got to start.
I got to have everybody.
You might never get the match too. What is she doing? How much burn?
This,
how much burn is in there, huh?
I like how both of our women's guests are pretty much like, sometimes we may stray on the not a DUI joke, I know, but sometimes we may cross over the the yellow lines and all that. These women guests, boom, this is where you go, this is your lane, and you stay in this lane.
Can I also say how amazing and just knowledgeable is Brandy? Like, I just love listening to her talk about any kind of wrestling because she is such an encyclopedia. She is really someone who, like you said, the Japanese Shimmer, she really does follow. And again, she loves wrestling. She's not necessarily just like watching it for like the WWE and all the glitz and glamour and sparkle and, things that production that they can throw out. Like, she's really a fan of wrestling. And I was like, listen to her when it came out last week. And I was just like, oh, I got to follow Brandy. Oh, crap.
Don't sell yourself short, please.
Well, I was going to say, I bet I could screw up Brad's game and that will give you my thing. So that's what I decided to do.
Also, collusion? Was this collusion? You had this and I'm going to make sure Coach ain't there. I'm going to knock out Adam's power. I'm going to fuck with Brad's game.
Hey, never underestimate the power of a woman. No.
That is true. That is the damn truth. For sure.
Amy, I am jealous of you though. I seen that you won that 4 Horsemen action figure pack on Twitter.
I know.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
That is awesome.
I know. I'm sorry. I the fact that they even, had that little raffle and you just had to tag people and, we got into, like I said, that was fun.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Fun.
I'm taking it to StarCast and I'm really hoping I think I have it lined out where I can get all the horsemen to sign it. So
are you working it with the Conrad thing, or are you just going as a fan,
well, funny you should ask me that, James. I will tell you. So some of you may or may not know, but I do work for Conrad at his First Family Mortgage Company.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a mortgage loan originator. And so I am actually working the First Family Mortgage vendor booth that they're going to have at StarCast. So I'm not like running the wrestlers or, like some people are doing. I'm going to work strictly at the booth. And when I won it, I sent Conrad a message and I said, hey, I know I'm there to work, but I won this. And, because I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm here to work, but I've got 5 meet and greets I'm going to go do and, I'll come back. So, but he was like, oh, yeah, that's wonderful. So, yes, I'm going to be able to get that. Just funny how all of that, kind of fell into place. So I'm going to get them all to sign it, which means I get to see my arm.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm happy you won it then.
Thank you.
It'd just
Thank
be
you.
hanging up right here, so
Oh.
no signature.
But yes, like I said, I just I was surprised, but I really was. I was very surprised that I won that. And that it's coming from Canada. I don't know if the people are from Canada, so I hope.
Yeah, shout out to NWA Gold.
Yeah,
I followed him on Twitter.
Oh, good.
Cool guy.
Yes, again, I enjoyed watching the NWA. When we went up to Massachusetts, Frank came over to Anthony's and I guess they had a pay-per-view that night, June 11th, I think. And we watched that and it was really good. Like I said, I love watching it all. I really do. Because I'm a fan of wrestling, not WWE, not AEW. I'm a fan of wrestling. And so, I'll go wherever it is. So.
Well, yeah. Hey, James, remember when we were talking about doing this show? We thought we'd have nothing to talk about for an hour.
At the very, before we even taped episode 1, I was like, what the hell are we ever going to talk about?
Yeah, we're 90
And now I'm like, I need to shut up. I feel like I'm just keep running my mouth. So,
well, because shout out to my dad. I know he's going to listen to this, but a couple weeks ago, he was like, well, like 2.5, y'all get these long episodes, blah, blah, blah. And then no lie, when I told him about the Brandy one, he's like, oh, 2.5, that ain't too bad. I can do that like this Sunday. And I was like, what? And by the way, fans, you can always pause it and come back to it later. you know,
right.
Yeah,
James, you'll have to let me. You have to let me know what your dad thinks of this episode.
He will definitely let me know.
Okay. Oh, okay,
yeah,
good.
My dad lets me know as well. By the way.
Oh, cool. He listens too. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. He said, "Can you say one nice thing about me on this show, please?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love you, Dad."
And I think my mom listened to one of the first episodes. And I don't think she listens anymore because we love to swear.
Yeah, my mom only walks in when I curse, apparently.
Yeah.
When I was on Ringside Rant one time, or I won a contest, and I got to be. Did I beat you to Devyn for that? Was a time? I might be Devyn. Sorry. Older is better than younger. No, just kidding.
Sometimes.
But my parents listened to, my mom told me, of course, after I got back, first off, I let them listen to Arn. My parents live right here. Like I live 5 minutes away from my mom and dad. So I went over one day and I was just like, I want y'all to listen to this. So I played that little piece where Arn was like, I love Amy. And I'm like, they're talking about me. And so, and I showed them my pictures from, June 10th. And my mom was like, she goes, I wish I loved something as much as you love wrestling. Cause look at that smile, And so, they're big fans. And like I said, they'll probably, I don't know. I'm not going to tell them about this because I don't want them to know that I
appreciate that.
Well, I don't want them to know that I fuck people, I kill people, and I don't think
said it. All right, finally, hour and a half.
There it is.
Said the first episode.
The fucking Godfather Amy over here,
Amy, you need to watch your
Leave some
mouth.
officials.
Now,
Well,
if she
I
says-
just said, did you not notice I got close to the, I was like whispering.
every
you
time
know.
You
she
need to
says
cut
that,
that
you drink
whispering
one.
crap out too.
Oh yeah. Why you don't want me to whisper to you, Adam?
Next subject.
Well, you know what is next? We got some topics to discuss, Adam. So hey, take it away. Ain't got anything you want to share?
Yeah, my power's out, so I'm in my car right now, and this sucks. But this is dedication because I love you guys.
Damn right. We've
We
had a
love
lot
you
of
too, Adam.
people dedicated to the show for sure. And then, you know, where in the world is Josh Rosenbaum?
I think we can chalk him up as a no-show.
Right. But
We can cut
thanks
that
for that
segment
little
right out.
tidbit, Adam. Devyn, you got anything you want to, you know, catch us up on? We all know you were under the weather last week, so you good?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better this week.
Oh my God, you spoke it into existence, Brad. Sorry to cut you off there, Devyn. Let's see what you know, Hollywood has to say.
Ah, here he is, Josh Rosenbaum, at right around 9 o'clock Central or 8 o'clock Central time. There he is.
I'm coming to you live and direct from the U.S. Mexico border. Here is you know, the big cemetery, but we're really here to you know, say what's up. I'm glad you guys are filling in. Amy, I really thank you for filling in for me. I know you're bringing the smoke. I seen in the group chat you're getting on Devyn, and I appreciate that. You got to keep him in line, Amy.
I will. So you all are group chatting right now?
They sent me one
man,
message
I
just to
wasn't.
say, hurry up, get in here. They were giving me crap. But we're here
Talking
to,
behind my back.
Amy, I promise you
No,
didn't
no.
write anything. Devyn did all the writing.
no. Yeah, Devyn did.
I said Amy's giving me shit.
He said Amy's roasting me. So let's.
I can't help it that I'm 30 years older than you or whatever it is. I mean, you know,
Might as well.
Right.
be.
I wanted him to be part of the conversation. So I wanted him to make sure that he knew what a commercial break was, what a VHS is. I wanted to make sure Devyn was part of the conversation. That's it.
And we have a new shirt, Coach.
Oh, we do?
Devyn,
Good. Let me see
Hang
it.
on to your rope.
You'll get there.
Oh, no.
Have you ever heard of that saying, Coach? Hang on to the rope.
Which one?
Hang on.
No,
hang
I
on to
haven't
the
heard
rope.
of it.
You've never heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of it.
I had a teacher that would tell us, you know, like when he was teaching us something difficult, he'd be like, just hang on to the rope. We're getting there.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I can understand the expression. Hey, look at this. This is a beautiful little mural in downtown El Paso. A little civil pride between the country of Mexico and the U.S. The militaries grouping together here. We have some of the old settlers right here that incorporated El Paso. There's a lot of history in this town.
Yeah.
I'll be coming to you guys live one night from the Eddie Guerrero mural garden down in Lincoln Park.
Nice.
A lot of history here.
How long are you
But-
staying, Coach? Are you sticking around or are you going back to whatever it is you're doing?
Well, I can be around for about 5 minutes. I got to park the car.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let me say hi for about 5 minutes. Let me just listen so I don't interrupt you guys. But it's good to see all of you.
Okay.
Well, that was
Back in the car
a
where he belongs.
that was a very good commercial break. And speaking of a commercial break, which we'll get to in our second match, which is AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella. It is from a Monday Night Raw, March 16th, 2015, from the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. It had an attendance of 9,300. The match length was a little over 11 minutes, and the TV rating was a 2.85, which back then roughly equal to about 3.86 million viewers. But that's enough about the little intro to that match. Mike, you got a little buildup on this, I see, so take it away.
I do. This match happened. It was actually during the time the hashtag Give Divas a Chance. It was right around that time. And this match was part of a build-up towards a match for WrestleMania 31. And that match would be the Bella Twins versus Paige and AJ. And coming up to that match, we all know Paige and AJ had their issues back in the day, and at this time, Paige was feuding with the Bella twins. She was going after the Divas title a little bit, and they would always interfere with each other's match and get involved and screw her out of it. And this is when AJ came back and helped her go against the Bellas. So then they started teaming up against each other, but they still had their feud with each other from the past too at the same time. So they named their team Frenemies, is what their tag team name was. And there was a couple matches in between everything where, you know, they would accidentally hit each other, or there's always a little bit of conference between them, but they still wanted to be a team to beat the Bellas. And that's where this match was coming in from.
So Nikki Bella was with her sister Brie in this match. AJ Lee was with Paige. Just before we kick this off, so we'll let you guys know that Nikki Bella is one of my hall pass ladies. Okay, I don't have much of a chance there. Amy's got a much better chance with her hall pass than I do. So let's get that.
Does it flip 2 for Brie? Like, is it kind of 2 for 1? No,
I'm not interested in Brie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
I bet I know why.
Oh, come on. Why?
That's a big difference.
Anyway, all right. So let's start with the entrances here. AJ Lee's entrance was her skipping to the ring. Devyn, what do you think of this entrance?
I was enthusiastic. Yeah, just showed she was ready for the match.
Yeah.
Just light it up.
So she played like a crazy girl. Coach, I actually had this question for you. Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Did you think that did AJ Lee's character remind you at all of Mickie James' original character?
I can see where you come from that, but definitely the physical aspect, they were not mirror images, but physically they did look similar with both that. But now I can definitely see where you're getting that from, because they look very similar.
James, do we have any talk of the commentators in this match?
Well, I do want to mention, talking about the intros. I don't know if this was, I think it was part of the little video picture-in-picture. I just wanted to mention a great quote by your Bella twins over here. AJ, they've been friends for what, like 5 minutes? We've been sisters our whole lives. Fucking, I can't roll my eyes harder than the Undertaker at that fucking dumb comment. Sorry, I almost passed out rolling my eyes back so far in my head. I don't know. The commentary, who was it? JBL,
Michael Cole and King.
That's right. Thanks, guys. I need to take notes on who it is if I'm going to talk about it. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I dig it. I always you can tell as it goes on, which I've mentioned before, the commentary takes it more legitimate as these matches progress that we talk about. So, you know, I like it. I do want to give a quick shout out to our the referee, Derek Moore. I've always liked him. For those who don't know the match in particular, he's the ref. He's the bald black guy. He's got big eyes. He always makes really good facial expressions. Back in this match, you could tell he's kind of, you know, getting into it, because now I think he's golden at it. You know, he's really good at selling it, and he does a great job of selling in this match too. So although I usually talk about the commentary, I did want to give a special mention to the ref here. I think he's evolved and been a really great ref. I kind of want to ask Kyoto about him maybe sometime. We all know that's Devyn's favorite podcast. He probably already has, but you know, I do want to bring it up.
Mike, do you like the Bellas?
Now you got me fired up. I'm supposed to be having a good time tonight. Don't bring that up.
Mike, do you like the Bellas better together or feuding?
Feuding, because I think because I like seeing Brie Bella out there, but her ring work, I think she's a much better worker than Nikki, and I think she should have got pushed a little bit more than what Nikki did. Or more than Nikki, at least.
So you think she's a better in-ring performer?
I do.
Okay. Amy, are the Bellas the biggest female stars to come out of WWE? Like mainstream?
Um,
Stumped. Who would have thought, huh?
I know. Well, I will say this. I never watched Total Divas. That's just not like, I feel it very weird to watch people in their own homes eating and, getting ready. I think that's weird. That's just me. I know it was a huge success for E. So I mean, but it just, as we all have learned and we've all learned, it's fake reality. They play up stuff and they write stuff for them. So
That's true.
But
wrestling's not fake. That show, fake.
Yes.
And my dad watches it. Want to give a shout out to him. My dad watches Total Divas. I'm not kidding you.
I love it. I've never seen the Kardashians. Like I said, that watching people, you know what? I have a fine life. Like, I don't understand why I want to watch rich people bitch about their lives and as their chef is fixing their food and they have a house that doesn't look lived in. I don't even understand the appeal of that. But that's me. So that, but like I said, I know it was a very successful show. And I know just by listening to podcasts and friends, a lot of people knew the Divas from the E show because that's something that they like to watch. Those women probably are the most well-known from the WWE. Yes, I do think that they have promoted themselves, which is not a bad thing. I don't mean it like that, but they have branded themselves using the tools that they learned in the WWE and all that it offered and was allowed of them with the Total Divas show, then moving to the Total Bella show, then, their own podcast and those kind of things like that. So I definitely think that there's a argument for that, Brad, that they are definitely the most well-known females to come out of the WWE in mainstream.
Nikki Bella's been on Dancing with the Stars. They're on some of these daily shows in the morning. More people know the Bellas. Maybe even they know them outside of the WWE as much as they know them inside the WWE right now. So I would agree with that too.
I got a question about that.
Okay.
Do you think they would have been anywhere close to where they are now if they weren't twins and weren't together? If they were separate people?
No.
Nikki or Brie?
But they are both beautiful women, but it does help that there's two of them.
That I agree.
Right.
So is there one that you think is the one that helped the other get there? Like one that's more the reason?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think they're both different, but no, I mean, I think they both helped each other. I don't really have an answer. That's a good question, Mike. I don't have an answer to that.
If I could add on to this.
Go ahead.
I think that if it wasn't for them being twins, that neither of them would have ever even been in the WWE. I think that...
Slow down there, Tiger.
I honestly believe that because they were part of the whole Divas search back in the day. What made them stand out above the rest of the women there?
Well, they are perfect 20.
That they were
Who
20.
their stepdaddy is, that's why.
No.
He wasn't a stepdad at the time.
Right. Devyn makes a very good point. And they have utilized that to the best of their ability. And you're right. They're very beautiful, but they were twins. And come on, guys. You're telling me that's never.
Not denying it.
Yeah. I didn't watch wrestling around this time period. I knew who the Bella Twins were.
But you know what I'm saying? They're again, at that time period that they're coming in, they're playing two male fantasies. And what male, even though Brad said no to Bella and yes to Nikki, but whatever, what male doesn't fantasize about twins? I mean,
if you've listened to past episodes, I'm not interested in two women at once. I don't need two women telling me I don't know what I'm doing. One is just fine. Thank you.
I believe it was, you don't want to disappoint two women at once. Yeah. I believe it was the quote.
The hell with
classic.
Okay. Brad, that's a problem if in your own fantasy you're screwing up. Like that's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, well.
I mean, you
really reality era, so
you need to take that bull by the horn. Like that's not how it's supposed to work.
Well, they would. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stop there.
Right. We got
Well,
reel it on
I'm gonna bring
in.
it back.
yeah.
Calling Brad a bull is just enough compliment for anything.
Are you looking at the moonlight over there, my friend? What do you got going on there, Adam from Bama?
I'm trying to enjoy some of this weather.
That's beautiful. It's very beautiful. So let's start
Well,
there.
I'll give you my opinion on it since I asked.
What,
Would that be okay? I'm just kidding. No. Well, the reason I was saying that is because I don't think they would be there if it wasn't for Nikki. But not just because of Nikki, but because of John Cena. Because it was after the time they started being with each other is when Nikki started getting pushed more, which did help her sister. And then that's when they were going mainstream. I think John had a little bit of help with that.
all right.
I definitely agree with that.
That's back when Brie was dating Daniel Bryan, though, right?
Yeah, Brie was with Daniel Bryan and Nikki was with John Cena.
I do think, despite both of them, despite their attractiveness being the reason that they were hired to WWE, I do think both Nikki and Brie have worked their ass off to earn everything that they've gotten to them.
Oh,
And,
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
I think
100%.
Nikki, I think she was tremendously better in this match than she was when she was first coming into the WWE.
Which of course leads me to the next question. Adam, what did you think of the in-ring work in this match, and who was the better wrestler?
See, I think AJ is a little bit more athletic over Nikki. I mean, Nikki's good. She's a really good heel, and she uses her looks as being a good heel. But I think AJ is just a little bit more athletic. And you could tell she's had a little bit more training. But if I had to pick one over the other, I'd give AJ Lee the edge. But they both look real good, honestly, compared to where they started, compared to then.
So then let's take it a step further, Adam. If AJ is the better wrestler, is she the better performer? And what I mean is that a little differently, as in more of a, is she putting on more of a show also? Or is it Nikki in that case?
I believe it's Nikki because it's the whole twin thing, the twin magic. I think she's more of the showman or the show woman. It's, like I said, she's more of the, yeah, I know I'm good. You know, I know that looked good the way I did it. And see, she kind of used her looks a little bit more than AJ Lee did. AJ Lee didn't worry about all that. She went in there, kicked tail, got physical, and that's how she did her stuff, was in the ring. So I think AJ Lee's the better worker, and Nikki is more of the showman.
So James, do you think that they're working well in this match, but do you think the crowd was bored, or was it too slow, or were they engaged?
Lukewarm, I would say. I would rate the engagement. I would say sitting down and watching for sure, but not really reacting a bunch. The when she shoves who's the Paige's face into the pole on the outside, that was kind of really the only time the crowd really had a pop, you know. But it did seem, I would say, lukewarm. I don't know. The wrestling was decent for sure. You know, I just don't get the lukewarm aspect of a lot of these stuff we watch.
I was watching during this time. I pretty much been watching since 2012 on, but I still couldn't figure out. And Devyn, I was hoping you could shed some light on this for me. Who are the heels and who are the faces in this match?
Well, the heels were the Bellas for sure. They were I think it was Adam that kind of said it, that they were kind of showing that they were the heels. They were being cocky. They were, you know, Brie pulled AJ under the ropes. Like there was a bunch of things that the Bellas were clearly the heels.
But what about this alliance between, and I'm still talking to you, Devyn, this alliance between AJ and Paige? It was always odd to me. And at any time it was volatile. But what did you think of the two of them together?
So Paige and AJ Lee were the two internet darlings, where they were facing up against the sports entertainers. It was really the internet's two stars in AJ Lee and Paige, the two of them worked their ass off through the indie scene and made it to the WWE, versus the sports entertainers who were given the spotlight and just, well, earning what they did with it, running with the spotlight.
So, Mike, do you think the Bellas could have more opposite taste in men?
No, not really. Because they do. I mean, it's completely different.
You got crunchy granola, and then you got house rules, right?
That's
So,
right.
real quick, back to you, Devyn, real quick. The low pants on Brie Bella. Did you happen to notice that? Did that remind you of anybody in particular, or a PG version of anybody in particular? On the spot. You didn't ask this.
Well, I mean, Bree kind of reminds me of my fiance Erica.
Oh, what the fuck,
man.
dude?
I fucking headbutt my wall
Get
in a
the
second.
freaking hell out of here. The answer
So, I
was
mean-
Lita. The answer was Lita. All right?
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Whatever. All right, so there's a distraction from on the outside of the ring. There was a lot of great moves in this match. It was a well wrestled match. It wasn't over the top, wasn't a lot of spots. They worked holds. There was a part where Brie distracts AJ. Nikki punches AJ. Nikki Bella does the rack attack. Is this a strong move, Adam?
Well, I mean, when you call it rack attack, I mean, what is it supposed to be?
I understand you're talking about boobs right now, but I actually didn't think about that. Don't you think it's a strong move overall?
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. If you look at it as the backbreaker aspect of it, yeah. Because if you got somebody
what it
over your
means?
shoulders,
Is it
When
about
you-
her boobs?
no, it's not really. When you have there's somebody over your shoulders and you drop down to your knees, you're gonna crack somebody's back for real.
Yes, the rack
It's
attack
a pun.
is for Brie or for Nikki Bella's boobies.
Wait a minute. But what about Lex Luger? Didn't he have like a torture rack?
That's the beauty of the pun. Because
Brad, where have
you
you
can
been,
use it as
brother?
the
I think I
tits
just
or the
got
rack.
kicked off the show, everybody. I think I just got kicked
Man.
off.
I
Hey,
don't know what.
the more you know. Comment going across.
So we're live to tape, folks. We're live to tape. And I guarantee you, James will not be taking that shit out. Okay?
Suckers got to know.
Somebody's
Yeah.
got to know. And if you could see, if you're watching on YouTube, Amy's eyes are the biggest saucers right now because I just said that. So let's kick it to you, Amy. Who did Twin Magic better? Was it the Bella twins or the Hebner referees?
Now that is not
Ha-ha-ha.
fair because okay, this is what I'm telling you. What year did that happen? 86, 80,
1971.
Okay. So
87?
Yeah, it was the it was around WrestleMania 3 time, right?
Yeah.
4?
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah, because
Someone will correct us. Don't worry. We're fine.
okay. So first off, Saturday night main event was my absolute favorite thing. Me and my sister was 88.
Yeah.
My sister and I, she's 2 years younger than me. We would stay up and we would watch Saturday night's main event. Like it was just so great whenever it would come on because, it just, like I said, you could see it. It was just the best thing to watch. When that happened, okay, like I can remember as a 10-year-old, I totally believed Hulk Hogan when he was like, how much did he play for the plastic surgeon? And dummy me did not connect that they were twins. I'm really thinking as a 10, 12-year-old, my God, they did plastic surgery. I think I was still believing it was real, it wasn't predetermined at that point. I still had that in my head. I couldn't even tell you how old I was when I realized that they were twins and how, they did it the best. That was an absolute showstopper when they had the twin referees and the shock and mayhem that happened after that. The Hebners did it the best.
Very good. Very good answer.
It was
Amy.
not 1988 on Monday on Saturday night's main event.
I can remember it like it was yesterday.
So, James, are the Bellas the perfect heels?
Are you talking about?
Do you hate them?
I did not watch. I was not obviously I was an outsider looking in, but when I saw some of the stuff, I was like, this is trash. Obviously, in hindsight, it's all nostalgia and all this blah blah. Because a lot of what we're getting into, I did not watch, and I remember hearing about it. You know, I kept my my ear to the pulse, as some would say. But I would see this, I just thought they were like, oh, it's the fucking Hollywood chicks that they're just throwing on. You know, I didn't legitimize their push, and then I would hear wrestling fans be like, oh, it's bullshit. Let's have the Bellas win everything. Bellas, Bellas, Bellas. So I was like, oh, fuck it. If they hate it, I'm not going to watch it. So I never watched it. So it was just completely what I heard about the Bellas. And it was not, you know.
I mean, I took it as stuck up hot girls that you just couldn't get. And they made sure you knew it. And I thought they were pretty good heels for that.
But once you see all these Hollywood shows and all that stuff, then it's like, and then they are faces. I don't know. By the time I knew of them, it was the John Cena fucking let's love each other, you know, all this stuff.
You know what I compare it to? I compare it to the Miz, though. You got the Miz on his own reality show. You got the Miz on Dancing with the Stars, and everybody loves him. And then he gets on the show on Raw, and everybody boos him. And I feel it's kind of pretty similar. It's amazing that people can transition like that.
I didn't watch, you know.
I think, like you were saying, though, Brad, I think there are some people that we have found in the wrestling, you know, business. They are just better heels. You know, they have the look. They have that charisma. They have something about them that they can do to make you not like them. And I think
that is 1,000%.
You know, and I'm sure, you know, the Miz is not a bad person. And I'm sure the Bellas are not either. But like you said, they have that hotness. We're twins, you know, that saunter, that charisma when they come out, and they could wrestle, you know. I mean, they were, you know, they're not, you know, Mildred Burke, if you ever hear Jim Cornette always talking about her, but, you know, like they could wrestle. And so I just think I never liked them as faces. I just thought that they were better as heels. So that's just me. Can I say something that it's your show. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's your show, Amy.
Yeah, come on.
No, I'm sorry.
What do you want to say? Why are you looking at me like that?
Uh-oh.
Go.
I was just going to say one thing that I did not like, and they are so much better about it now, today. If I am going to fight someone, okay, I'm taking my high heels off, I'm taking my earrings up, and I'm putting my hair in a hair bow, a band of some sort, getting my hair out of my face.
Yeah, that'll put butts in seats.
I'm done.
Hey, I do want to note that it is cool to watch a women's match that does go to commercial break. I put that like, damn, a commercial break, like, hey, you know?
Yes.
Because we've been watching like 2.5, 4 minutes, like shit like that. So
right. So that's something from more of the attitude, like the, not, you know, the girly, I don't know what you want to call it, but the hair's flying all in the face and they're having to keep messing with it and whipping it around. That's not, to me, that's not someone who wants to win a fight. Like, you're going to put your hair back. And if you notice now, a lot of times, like Charlotte and Lacey, a lot of the girls, the different girls, they have braids. They have Alexa Bliss has, you know, they have it pulled back. Yes, it can still flow, but it's not getting your face. And it's like, hey, I'm here to fight. Are y'all texting about me again? I see you looking down, Brad.
I'm looking at my notes. That's what I do. But Devyn, I heard that Nikki Bella is Erica's all-time favorite wrestler, you said?
Yeah, total Divas and total Bellas. That's the whole reason I was able to get Erica into this crazy sport.
Hey, whatever it takes, man, whatever it takes. I do want to mention real quick that a match that was on later on this evening, we don't have to get into depth about it, I just want to mention it, was Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, and Dolph Ziggler versus Stardust, Wade Barrett, and Luke Harper. So this wasn't that long ago, 7 years ago, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
R.I.P. Brody Lee.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, AEW is just in Rochester too.
Yes. So anyway, I think we've done our due diligence on this. We spoke mostly about the Bellas, not too much about AJ Lee, but hey, we did what we did. I mean, tear us up later for it.
And I guess they're, well, 3 of the 4 spouses, I guess, are semi-active. Well, out, I guess, right now is what I meant to say. John Cena's obviously, doing his sabbatical. Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson injured. Punk injured. So there's a little conundrum. Or no, I guess Cena's not with them anymore. Sorry. I like proposals that happen on wrestling shows that don't come to fruition. It's really cool stuff. Shout out to your little action figure boy over there.
By the way, I did like the Black Widow. I like that Black Widow submission from AJ Lee because I don't know. It almost looks she's so tiny and she's wrapping herself around. Seems like a great thing to pick up in the bedroom, huh? That's all.
Heard that.
All right.
Somebody
Amy, what are you looking at?
when you
Amy's
said
talking
that
to
too.
someone. Amy's
Right
on
when you
mute.
say that too. I probably heard that. Awesome.
She did.
Oh, it's your show, James.
Technically, Amy kicked it out to you. Just want to say, kick out crew.
Anyway, James.
The Bella stepping all over AJ at the end, I thought was a bit much, and their theme song sounded like I said, I wasn't watching back in this day, but I was expected one of them to say, "Call me, beat me if you want to reach me," and I know a couple of our fans are going to get that reference, and I'm going to sound like a idiot when they do, but I greatly appreciate that match. You know, it was cool to watch from an era that I was not watching. I think I started to chime in probably a little bit after this, maybe 2016, 17. So to see the impotence of me chiming in was really, cool to, because now we're kind of starting to get the stuff I would watch. So as we're going through this diatribe of the women's wrestling, it's cool to, go back and notice stuff I never saw, especially TNA. And I guess now it's time for some Kentucky laughs with Amy and Brad.
So just a few things, Amy, that since you are from Kentucky, we have a few questions. What exactly is Kentucky folk art?
Kentucky folk art?
Yeah.
Where did you hear that?
Where do I hear everything? Online. All right, so that's a flop. So let's go to the next one. What is a hot brown?
A hot brown is a turkey sandwich with mashed potatoes and brown gravy on it.
Okay. What is a Benedictine?
A Benedict. Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's hold on one second.
All right. So while she's doing that, this is going the wrong way.
Shout out John Calipari. Hey, Kentucky.
It's okay.
So
There you go.
did she just call us?
Somebody's in trouble.
Anyway.
I guess we can make this little cut.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make the cut on that one, Amy.
Sorry, it's a cucumber sandwich.
It's okay.
Just go find out.
No,
Oh.
I didn't.
All right. So what is a burgoo?
You know what? I meant to ask my husband that. He likes it. I know I don't. Let me look it up real quick.
This
We
is
get
not
it.
going the way I need it to.
I'm so sorry.
You
Let me
live
look
there.
You know what? I knew you were going to ask
Cheesesteak
me
is. I know what it is. All right. I know
what burgoo. Oh, I knew it was a stew. Like I said, I don't really like it too much, but it's an Irish stew that apparently we eat in Kentucky.
This is a hell of a great time. All right, we're gonna wrap this up right now. What is the greatest 2 minutes in sports?
The Kentucky Derby.
All right, thank God. All right, moving on.
Oh man.
Sorry, I
1
didn't
out
know
of
my-
10.
And
I
that
didn't know
was
my
Kentucky
Kentucky
laughs.
history.
By the way, I was gonna do an FMK with Kentucky people, but all of you would wanted to fuck Abraham Lincoln, so I ended that.
That's
What
a
about
good choice.
Calipari though? I like the one and done Calipari.
Hey, Johnny Depp's from Kentucky.
Yeah, I didn't want to pick him either, because again, you want to fuck him too. No.
George
ow.
Clooney is too. Just
Yeah,
saying.
all right. So again, you don't even kill anybody, so we know the rules. How about we do a couple questions real quick,
It's
James?
not my fault. You, did not.
You should,
clarify.
Brad. That's a very good idea. It's your show.
No, it definitely isn't today. But during this era, wrestling. Who the hell is this from anyway? I don't know. All right.
Thank you
let's
for the
just go to this.
question, whoever.
Bryant Haremza, or good friend Bryant, was there really a breakout star in this era in your minds? Go ahead, Devyn. You look excited.
Adam just broke out to our eyes. Sorry. That's why I was excited. Can you
Oh,
repeat the
congratulations,
question?
Adam. I was reading.
Let's see.
Hold on.
Your
Hold
bell
on.
is a
Someone talk.
breakout.
Can someone talk here? Come in, hon.
Yeah.
Devyn, are you going to talk? Is there any breakout stars during this time?
Yeah, AJ Lean Page.
All right, great. My wife's in the background,
I keep
blinking
popping
in and out. So we have a run-in, but I have that virtual background, so it's very strange.
This is the best episode we've ever done.
Yeah, this is, Amy's talking to her husband.
Hello, Brad's better half.
Hey, say hey.
Hey, I don't know. Can we?
No,
It's not working.
they're gonna see our bedroom if that happens. We can't have that.
We can't have that.
We don't want to see all the whips and chains come out.
Right? Fucking mirror on the ceiling. Some
no, I'm gonna give her the
strings in
best
there,
for
you know,
life
crazy
later.
shit.
So.
Goodness. But so I popped in because I don't have Nitro Pepsi, but I have Nitro Cold Brew here, and I wanted to talk about that.
Yes.
All right, talk about it. Let's hear it.
I'm Team Nitro. It's amazing.
Yes.
See, I kind of popped in again.
Look, oh my God, you had those at the ready, Devyn? What the hell?
Devyn has a six-pack right at his feet.
I keep popping in and out.
All right, so.
I do exist, though.
Amy, my wife, made an appearance here. Say hi.
Hi.
It's okay. Brad pops in and out all the time.
Hey.
Amy doesn't know how to play F, Marry, Kill, but you know.
Oh, geez.
We're getting there.
No, I played it quite well. Brad's just bad.
All right. Anyway,
bye. I'm gonna leave you guys. I just wanted to talk about Nitro.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for joining the Nitro train.
So anyway, we asked a question. No one answered it. Everybody was shrugging their shoulders. Amy was talking to one of her family members.
Sorry.
Any breakout stars during this time?
I think Paige was.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Bella twins are too, of course. So.
And Charlotte.
Yep.
Stardust.
Yeah, Paige was cleared. I think she'll be doing it good right now too, like in today's.
She is coming up on her release, so stay tuned.
It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Was it?
The 7th?
So she was
Today.
released. Paige was released, right? I was actually going to ask that.
Talking about her non-compete.
But did anybody know she was still
yes,
there?
okay.
I didn't know she was even still there. And I was actually going to bring that up in the next match. I didn't even know she was.
I knew she was still signed, but I didn't know what she was doing.
It's very lackluster to announce that she's being released when you haven't seen her in 3 years.
Yeah.
Not a lot of
Very
excitement.
true.
Anyway, let's get this episode back on track. The all-female season of NXT, Brian Haremza again. What were your thoughts on this concept and who did it really help? So, I did write down who was in it and don't know what I did with it. Anybody?
The concept sounds good. I don't know who was in it to answer the latter.
Well, for me, it goes back to that idea of wrestling is wrestling. Again, personally, I don't really know if I want to see like just a women's show, NXT season, but I want to see NXT with great women and men wrestlers. Do you see, so I'm not as interested in kind of breaking it up like that because, again, in a weird way, it's like, I just want it to be normal that women and men wrestle on the, is Raw. And then in a weird way, it almost makes it like it's special when it shouldn't be, if that makes any sense. Like, look at this, all women's pay-per-view. Like, that's a special thing. And to where, that's an out of the norm thing. Like, there was all men pay-per-views for a very, very long time, and so I just wanted to get back to hopefully the thought of wrestling is wrestling. And so we don't have to do an all women's pay-per-view because we have kick-ass women and they're already going to have 3 matches on TLC, WrestleMania, whatever it ends up being. That's just me.
They need to stop having them as a nostalgia type deal and just let them be a part of the show like everybody else.
Just so you guys know, season 3, I believe, of NXT, this is back before NXT, was Caitlyn, Naomi, AJ Lee, Oksana, and Maxine. So some big names coming out of that. So I think it helped all of them if they were on it. Anyway, we'll do questions later because
it's true. I mean, if you get the exposure, it's up to you to do something with it.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they got an opportunity. The Divas got an opportunity the last show that we did.
Yeah.
A lot of champions came out of that. You know, they came out there in bathing suits, and a few years later they were champion. And Michelle McCool is a badass, by the way. She was on Wives of Wrestling. She's tougher than everybody. But
True.
anyway, we'll do some questions later, James. Kick it back to you.
Right. I think it's time we progress forward at our last match. It's match number 3, and it is Charlotte versus Paige from TLC 2015, which took place December 13th of that said year, 2015, from the TD Bank North Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. We'll move on from that. The attendance was 14,903. It was a Divas Championship match. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. The match length was a little over 10.5 minutes. And for those who care, Meltzer gave it 3 stars. Now, I know this is kind of Amy's little foray into it. So, Amy, let us know, how this came to be and what happened to you.
All right. So just to give a little history. So this is the year 2015. And so maybe more March, April, somewhere in there, that's when Stephanie announced that we were going to have this women's revolution. And they brought up Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks from NXT. And so those 3 women all went on to kind of make little factions with other women. So it was Paige, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. Then you had Sasha Banks, Tamina, and Naomi were a group. And then you had the Bella twins, who ended up picking up Alicia Fox, and they were kind of like Team Bella. So you kind of had these 3 little groups going. Sasha Banks and her group and the Bellas were more of a heel faction, whatever you want to call them. And so your Charlotte, Becky, and Paige were more baby faces. So they all obviously have to clash with each other. Charlotte actually is the one who dethroned Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship. Like, I wrote it down. September. I think I wrote down September. Let me see. Yes. So what they decided, the writers decided to do was to make a jealousy angle. So then Paige was jealous that Charlotte had won, felt like she should have the gold. So then they start going at each other. Now, this TLC match is actually the 3rd match that they have had. They had a match at Survivor Series. Then they had a rematch, quote, at the Raw show the next day. And then they have this TLC match. Now, the reason why I picked this match is because there might be something, or what I remembered about this mainly is the reference to Charlotte's brother Reed's death, and, by Paige. And so I thought that would be interesting because we kind of have that going on in AEW right now with Christian Cage and how he's referenced Luke Perry, to Jungle Boy about being dead. And, it's a very controversial, people are very much on both sides, some people think it's okay. Some people think that crosses the line. So I think it's interesting that, maybe we could even talk about that a little bit of just how did how do we feel about bringing up her brother? Her brother died of a drug overdose, literally 2 years prior to this event. And he was 25 years old. Not saying any of those things make it better or worse, but, I meant to write it down. Paige said something to the effect that, and if you all remember, you can say it, at a contract signing, Paige said something to the effect of, oh, well, your little brother couldn't handle pressure, could he? And, he died of a drug overdose. And so that kind of made her obviously get some nuclear heat. I don't really know if that kind of heat is good or bad. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
cheap
what do y'all
heat
think?
is what it is. It's
I think
cheap
it's
heat.
low-hanging fruit, it's lazy booking. Like, obviously you can go there, I guess, because it's there, but is that the only thing you can come up with? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's kind of just lazy.
that's cheap heat because
Yeah.
that's just like coming out and saying, "Hey, what do you know, Birmingham, Alabama? This state sucks because the baseball team." That's cheap heat, man. Give me something original. Don't give me that crap.
Mhm.
You know,
think that
and
angle-
it actually happened this week too on Dynamite
Jeff Hardy.
when they brought up Jeff Hardy. So I mean, they're doing it now.
They've
Yeah.
made an example of Jeff Hardy on more shows, more organizations, but this is very,
Than
very
anything.
true.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I feel like this angle kind of goes along the lines of our Jeff Hardy hitting Elias angle that we've talked about on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Amy, thank you for the lead into that. I appreciate it. So the first thing I was going to say was Paige recently left WWE. Did anybody know that she was still there? We've already gone through that, so I guess we don't have to. James, what did you think of Charlotte's entrance in this?
Ironic that you would ask me because straight up, one of the first things, heavy Ric Flair on the entrance. I kind of think, I don't know, and that kind of goes with how I viewed the crowd. A lot of this match, this is just a lot of Rick. You know, there's a lot of wooing, a lot of Rick comes in there strutting. He tries to, I think, fist dap or maybe get Charlotte's arm, all that stuff. And then it cuts to the ring, and Paige is doing the Ric Flair strut. The crowd's chanting woo like 85 times in a row. It's, I don't know. Looking back on the match, watching Charlotte and seeing all this Ric Flair, like heavy Ric Flair stuff, I'm kind of like, man, I wish they would just like quit with this. And now, at the time, I'm like, oh, they took her away from her dad. She's probably going to flounder. But then looking back, I'm like, man, I'm glad they did that because I can't handle this. Like, she's doing something in the match, and the crowd's just wooing the shit out of Flair on the side. But yeah, I think their entrance was very heavy Rick. You know?
Well, that's what I was going to get to next here, and I was going to kick it to you, Mike. Do you think Ric Flair needs to be here, or did he help the situation or hurt the situation?
I think he hurt it. Because I think the focus was more on him than it was on the match or anything else like that.
But at the current time, once again, I really wasn't watching. At the current time,
Right.
Was it helping her, or was this starting to get where it was like, all right, man, you know, we want
He hasn't been
Charlotte.
around that long yet, right? Amy?
Well, can I interject? I'm sorry. There was something I forgot to say. I'm very sorry about going into my intro about the match. Sorry. Because I was thinking about the whole death angle. Excuse me. This time period is it's a very confusing, very rushed, because after Paige loses at SummerSlam and Charlotte wins, after Paige sat there and said, I'm sorry, I got to.
Nitro Pepsi.
Probably Mr. Woodford if I had my guess.
Woo! After Paige said that about Charlotte's brother, and Charlotte goes on to defeat her at SummerSlam or at Survivor Series, moving into the next pay-per-view, TLC, Paige says that Charlotte's arm was underneath the rope when she got submitted, so it technically it shouldn't count, and that she was a dirty player. So then they start doing this whole thing about Charlotte is a dirty player like her dad. So then that's why they bring Rick. So now, literally 4 weeks after we're supposed to be like, Paige should be the most hated person for saying such a vile thing to Charlotte, we're supposed to now be sympathetic to Paige because Charlotte actually cheated to win this match. So it's like, why in the world did you even do all of that with Reed if you were literally going to want us to be sympathetic to Paige, who lost at TLC because Charlotte and Rick cheated? It just doesn't even make any sense. Like, what in the world was that? And again, that wasn't 6 months. That was literally the next pay-per-view, the next month. We're already trying to switch. Paige is now a babyface, and Charlotte is the heel.
I mean, we've seen it once. We've seen it a lot in the WWE, where one week we're supposed to forget about everything that happened. Unfortunately, I think
Judgment Day.
Exactly. And then I just remember not that long ago with like Bobby Lashley was facing Riddle, and he was just destroying Riddle every night. And then all of a sudden, Lashley was in the championship against The Miz, and Riddle's on the outside cheering like a week later. It's just, you're supposed to forget all about it. Like he was one of the lumberjacks helping him out. It happens for sure that you're supposed to forget about this, and you're supposed to just change your feelings. If it's one thing, if it's a year, but you're talking 3 weeks. That's ridiculous. Absolutely. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Charlotte more with you, Adam. Is Charlotte and I'm going to be careful the way I phrase this, Amy, because of the way we've been talking through this whole episode. Is Charlotte the best female performer of all time? And is she, or could she be, a top 10 best performer overall eventually?
100% and 100%. Because I mean, I got her my notes right here. She sells great. They lock up great. Just everything she does, man. It's just she puts everything into it. Does the moves good. You don't see very many botches of hers at all. She could be like just in top 10 in general. Yeah, she could be the top 7 probably. Behind Randy Orton and a couple of other guys. But as far as number 1 women's wrestler, yeah, there's no doubt. Just like Bully Ray says, she's number 1, and no one's really even close to number 2. Tessa Blanchard could be number 2 if she was easy to get along with and work with. And I like what they did with her on Impact, but she just didn't handle it well. I think Charlotte would handle it much better if they let her do the same thing.
Devyn, do you think Ric Flair helped establish the women's revolution?
I think he definitely helped out at this era. Like, you guys were saying that everyone was wooing and stuff. Well, we just watched a Nikki Bella versus AJ Lee match where only 70% of the crowd was in it. So 100% of the crowd is wooing right now. 100% of the crowd is paying attention to what's going on around the ringside. So I honestly do. I think I helped elevate these women's presence.
All right, let's get a little raunchy here. What'd you think of the fishnets on Paige there, Mike?
I love them. I was a big Paige fan, though. I don't know what it was about her, but I was a big Paige fan.
How do you think she would do at a tanning salon?
Who'd want her to go? that look is what gets her, so I don't even want her to go.
Do you imagine what she would look like tan, though? Because they always say tan look. I mean, who says it, Amy, about tan? Somebody says something about tan makes him look better. Who is that, Amy?
Oh, Arn is known for that, definitely.
All right, so Paige is playing to the crowd, mocking Rick a lot. Charlotte does that face first drop like Ric Flair does.
Yeah.
Come on, who wants it?
I wanted to bring that up, but they don't really botch, which I get it. But boy, howdy, that one looked like she went all in on that one. Because most of the time the flare flop is kind of just like it's flat, like it looks real smooth. That one just looks like face and then body, like rolls down. That looked rough.
So I also wanted to talk about this with Charlotte. She was doing this back then. She still does it today. She was making fun of the crowd saying, "We want Paige. We want Paige." And I have seen her recently, maybe in the last year, say, "What? What?" Amy, do you think that is something she should be doing, or should she be ignoring the crowd?
I like it. I mean, I think it's really important that you can make those changes in the crowd, because if not, they will take over, And so I think that that's a great way for, number one, for her to regain control.
Heel.
And I think that it's, and it kind of shows, like you were saying, she doesn't care. She's taking that power away from them, like them overwhelming her with what, and like, how some people get rattled by that. You've kind of seen that. She obviously does it. She takes it right back from them, and then they've lost, that kind of, what they're trying to do is hijack, when they start when there's a lot of that, whatever they're saying, they're trying to hijack the match, and she takes it back, and I like it.
I like that too. I also like how she talks to her opponent. She yells at the referee, and she's talking to everybody, and you hear her talk. And I love that about Charlotte.
Yeah, very good. So there's a sleeper hold by Paige here, and there's a lot of good wrestling in the match. But do you overall, Adam, do you think this is a step up from what we've been seeing?
Oh yeah, definitely step up. I mean, there's two things about the match I didn't like, and I'm gonna say Charlotte's such a good heel. She controls the match real good. Paige fires up so good whenever she starts taking over. She gets the crowd behind her. The only two things I noticed is too many leg slapping, especially when you hear the leg slap and they move and nobody gets hit, but you still hear the afterwards. And then they talked a little too much during the match, which, I mean, if you know when to look for it, you can tell when they're talking. Other than that, they are two of the best women in that era right there.
Yeah, I don't notice what you notice. Like you said, like I always say with you, you're an in-ring performer. You bring your expertise here, but you can notice, which we may not notice. Like I don't see the slapping. Maybe I'm not looking for it, but you're there. You can't help yourself, right?
No, I know. I pick it out of a crowd. I hate it. And then another thing, I forgot how good Paige was back then. And I knew she was great, but I forgot how good she really was, man. She was, if she wouldn't have got hurt, she would have been up there with Sasha and everybody else, if not better than Sasha, in my opinion.
And I was going to say something to you, Devyn, about that. Do you think that you appreciate Paige more now that she's gone?
Oh, absolutely. I really do. Like watching this and watching the Paige movie, like I really grown a greater appreciation for Paige in these later years.
Did everybody see that movie?
Been injured.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah, that's an excellent. I love that movie. How about you, James? You the only one?
Have not seen that movie. Not really a movie buff. Or yeah.
Well, you know The Rock's in it.
Well, good. Yeah, saw the clip on the online when they were promoting it. That's how you do a promo.
That's it. Hey, Mike, Team Bad in the back. So they were dressed as Charlotte, Becky, and Paige. What'd you think of that clip?
I thought it was funny. It was just them getting a little ha-ha.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty perfect. Adam, I have to say it real quick, buddy. I know I just talked to you, but there was a figure four. There was a figure four, and then they turned it over.
They turned it.
Burst of pressure. What happened?
Guess which one hurts? Guess which one hurts worse?
Yeah, put your freaking mic off, right? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, I was gonna actually tell you this time. I mean, it actually.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, power went out again. Fucking power.
All right, so a big boot from Charlotte. Off the top was a little awkward landing. Fisherman suplex by Paige.
All right. Before you move on from that fisherman suplex.
Power, my bad.
Yeah. Pay attention. The ref takes a very interesting angle to count the 3 on that fisherman suplex. I thought it was a bit. I know it's just like innocence. Like he leaped over to make the count, but he landed literally like right in between her legs and was like making the count. It was a poor guy, just like, you know, wrong spot to jump because he jumps perfect, leaps over it, but lands right in between the middle of her legs and has to look at the shoulders with you know, yo, 1-1-2 in front of his face. So I was like, man, that doesn't look good. Obviously, y'all didn't notice it, but I was like, geez.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, if you ever,
nobody's
see
talking.
It again, you'll know sorry, exactly what I'm talking like. Like, whoa.
All right.
Glad I got that in.
I mean, why aren't we saying anything? Charlotte takes the cover off. Of course, we had to get some Ric Flair interference here because it's not a match. Ric Flair doesn't, like we joke about before, he really doesn't have a finishing move. His finishing move is cheating to win. So Charlotte takes the cover off the turnbuckle after the distraction from Paige's drop. He drops Paige's head onto it for the win. Amy, what'd you think of this finish?
You know, again, I was feeling very. I didn't like how some of the things were kind of progressing. Where now all of a sudden, you know, like I said, now Paige is the baby face because she just got beat because Charlotte literally cheated. I mean, I thought it was kind of lackluster. These women can do a finish. You know, they didn't have to, you know, do the turnbuckle thing, whatever. So, you know, it was, but again, this is actually their third match. You know, they had one at Survivor Series. They had the match at Raw, and then they have this one at TLC. And so I was just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I was very confused about, like I said, this whole time period and who I should be cheering for and who I shouldn't be mad at, so it was okay.
Mike, which move is missing from this match from Charlotte?
I don't know.
Moonsault.
The figure 8.
Oh.
What do you think of that move, and why do you think it wasn't done here?
I don't know. I don't know why she didn't do it.
You like that move? Do you think it's a strong move?
I think, yeah, I like it. It's because it's different. So it's not just the figure 4. You're adding your own spin to it. So anytime like somebody takes another move, but they add their own thing, I think it helps it out a lot.
I love it. I love it because it's something to her dad, but she made it her own.
Yeah. There you go.
It looks like it hurts a hell of a lot more than your move there, Adam. Your figure 4.
And it kind of, if you do the arch just right, it kind of sort of like pins your opponent too, so they can either submit or maybe do the 3.
She's an incredible athlete. Paige is an incredible athlete. I think this was the perfect. I know Amy's doing her thing right now, but I thought this was the perfect match to kick us in to next. I know we got some more to talk about this week, but perfect match to kick us into the women's revolution. We can definitely see how much the women's division has improved. And like you said, Amy, now it's to the point when we go to the women's revolution where we're not talking about the main event being a women's match on Raw. We're not talking about on SmackDown. It's just the main event.
Right.
And
it's the
I know
best match.
16, we won't quite be there, but we are today. We are today. They just say it's going to be Charlotte Flair versus whoever in the main event. They don't say hey, great news, women's match. So I will say this: Bleacher Report, who I know is not Meltzer, but I do read a lot of Bleacher Report, gave this match a D. What the fuck is that?
I think they meant to give it 2 Ds.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I see what you did there. No, I thought it was a good match. Like we said, I watched this at the time. I don't remember everything that went on. I mean, it was 7 years ago. I don't remember yesterday, but I guess maybe it was the 3rd match, like you said. Maybe people were tired of it. Maybe it didn't further a story like they would want. Maybe that all goes into these ratings sometimes as well, where you're just watching something out of nowhere. We're just watching it for what it is as a good match. So anybody have anything they want to add?
I noticed during the match, the commentators talked a whole lot about nonsense. I didn't like that because they don't do it during the men's match while I talk about all that nonsense during the women's match.
Funny, James. I usually go to you.
I
did not.
I was kind of reading along and I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. There was a lot of I don't know how, yeah, because I put like the announcer seemed not interested, but I was like, what do I mean by that? How can I elaborate? But yeah,
I don't know. I enjoyed the
because it does, because like Adam said, it kind of re-triggered my memory. It does. There's a lot of extracurricular stuff, like JBL's like plugging his Twitter, I believe, at one point. Like there's all kinds of random
talking about Charmel.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, and even back in the AJ and Nikki Bella match, I counted because I was just curious. These women are doing legit wrestling moves, and the commentators were too busy talking about the upcoming WrestleMania match, the Twitter. I can't remember how long the match was, but I counted. They only less than 10 wrestling moves. The commentators commented on. So that was a fireman's carry or whatever in that whole entire match. And honestly, that's all Nikki and AJ did was wrestling moves. And I felt like, like you said, the commentators either they didn't know what to, I don't know, it was all new. They didn't know what to say, but I didn't feel like you said, Adam, that they were actually giving it the same, talking and presenting it to, because the commentators are there for like people who can't see the match. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're there for, to give that play-by-play and give, I don't care about, like you said, JBL's Twitter. I don't care, Charmel says all women hate each other, and just, some of that stuff that was going on.
My wife's gonna hate me, some shit.
Exactly. They were not talking about the match in the ring to where if I had to listen to it, would know what the hell was going on.
You got to blame Vince McMahon for that.
I will say JR, like when we were talking about a couple, matches and stuff, JR, obviously him and King were very juvenile at some points, but when JR gets into it, puts some shit over, like it literally does legitimize it, especially, when the commentary is, treating this as a legit thing, like with that Mickie James cage match. They put over a bunch, great talents. This is the first ever cage match. It's the main event. We've got some great women's wrestlers here, blah, blah, blah. Like they're, promoting their own, like they're building their own thing. And sometimes I think that's lost on a bunch of these, like, it's just overlooked. Like, oh, hey, yeah, there's a women's match. Yay, good for them, good for them. We're going to cut up and bullshit, like, over here.
I kind of felt, I had a note on that actually, that I felt like Michael Cole was the only commentator talking about the women. Yeah. And I felt like you kind of said that you think it was the Vince McMahon, but I think Vince McMahon was probably in Michael Cole's ear saying,
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Hey, put some comments on this. No one's talking about it. So
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Or vice versa. Who really knows? With that guy, who
really... Michael Cole going in for himself.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, he knew, like, hey, somebody's got to legitimize this shit.
Yeah, but Booker T and JBL did not seem interested at all.
Yep.
I'll do a question.
Let's do it.
What were Amy? All right, Michael McClanahan. Get your thinking caps on.
That is Big Money Mike. He's probably he needs to be teaching.
What were Amy's thoughts on women's wrestling during this period? How did Amy, as someone who enjoys the systematic and scientific approach of FTR, feel about the more eccentric and reality television-based presentation of women's wrestling?
Well, I think we kind of touched on it. I wasn't a. I appreciated that it was better. Again, I felt like these women were wanting to be wrestlers, and they put, like you said, Nikki Bella, AJ, those were women that you could tell had put in the effort, and that this was, something that they were doing moves, they were doing arm bars. She was, it wasn't just trying to rip off their clothes and whipping their hair around and whatever else they might be doing. So I definitely appreciated that very much. Again, I wasn't a big reality TV watcher, so having that aspect of it too was something that I can't talk about because I didn't really watch it, so it didn't make me want to watch Total Bella or Divas because it was about the WWE. It just wasn't anything that I was interested in. Yes. Between Arn and Tully, FTR, different ones like that, that 80s type of wrestling that I grew up, that I really started watching in the beginning. I liked where we're going during this time period. And there's still issues, like I said, but they're really getting a lot better, and they're really trying to wrestle. And you can tell that these women want to wrestle, not, again, it's a platform to get somewhere else. Like maybe we necessarily saw with like a Stacy Keibler and some of those, like, that was not her dream growing up.
Yeah, just a stop to get the notoriety and get on to,
well, and again, that was the time period and that's what happened. And so it's, it's not a knock on anybody. It's just kind of what we were seeing. But me as a fan is really enjoying, kind of like you said earlier, Brad, we're not saying, we're not making a big deal because the women are going to close Raw. That's the main event, because good wrestling is what's going to be on at the main event. And whether it's a men's match, a women's match, whatever, the expectation is that the best match goes on at the end. And if it just so happens to be, Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, then that's what the last match is going to be. It's not like we need to give ourselves a pat on the back. We're putting the women last as a, that they did such a good job. It's just the best match is going to be the last match.
The moneymaker.
One more question from Bryant, and then we can move on from that. I think this is an easy one, but during this era, wrestling was never really the focal point with the ladies. Do you think this hurt some of the legitimacy of the women when they did actually have matches? I mean,
yeah, it did. Because every time Finley wanted to teach them something, they were telling him, "Hey, look, they're women. They don't need to be doing all this." So he had to ease it off a week or two, then go back to it.
but you know what I think? I think also everybody judges the era for what they are. And when we looked at last week with the ruthless aggression era, these women, I hate cliches, but they made they were I think that the ruthless aggression era really made today what it is, even though they didn't have the platform maybe they deserved. So I mean, the Michelle McCools, the Bella twins, they still get their flowers. It's different today. It's looked at differently, and these women are great athletes, but they're given a better platform too. So I do think they're also judged on the era they were in, and like Trish Stratus and Alita, they still get a lot of respect. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And if you notice too, a lot of the women today, that was their idols. So
Yeah.
they looked up to them. So, you know, they did pave the way because they're the ones that brought those people in. And I think they helped out a lot.
And now Molly Holly gets, like we talked about it, she gets thanked from everybody.
Well, you can fully develop the talent because, like we mentioned, you know, oh, hey, you're doing too much, so they scale it back a week. No, you don't have to do that anymore. You can continuously build and grow and make these people better. Like, you know, you don't have to like, oh, better, you know, tone it back a skill level. No, get better, do better, improve, get more reps, have a couple more matches. You know, like I think it's one of those things where now you're afforded. It's cool to like train your people to be the best, like your prospects or whatever, you know, not to use an athlete term, but like the prospects of them. It's cool to train them and develop them instead of just like, oh, hey, gotta, you know, don't be doing too much now. Like, I think moving forward, it's great.
But I do think there is a big difference between 2012 and 2015.
Yeah.
We didn't talk a lot about 2012 here today in the WWE. It was not good. We talked about the positives and where it was moving into the women's revolution, and what was going on in TNA as well. So there, when I got back into it in 2012, like I really got back into it, it wasn't where it needed to be for sure. So, but anyway, I think we've exhausted this match and the questions. So James, what up?
Well. I guess it's time for Amy to enlighten us on speaking of powerful, strong, and definitely endearing women's wrestlers. And, you know, she's kind of the one that set a benchmark for a lot of the stuff you see today. Not to be disrespectful to people before her predecessors, but definitely moving forward from her, it seems like the game really changed. So, Amy, you want to allude or give to who I'm alluding to and take it away from there?
Yes, thank you. So you are talking about the ninth wonder of the world, China. And the Joni Lawler is, you know, she was an absolute, I mean, now looking back, unfortunately she has passed, but looking back at what she was for the wrestling community, it really does show, like you said, she was a very pivotal person in where we are today, where we see women, how we see women. She was not your typical woman on WWF at that time. I absolutely love how she came in. If you all remember, she came in with Triple H and she said nothing. She was a bodyguard. She was out there by the ring and she just stood with her hands crossed, muscles for days, and she never said anything. And she ragdolled Marlena. I mean, that whole presentation of her for that month and a half, whatever it ends up being, when Triple H is going up against, what was his name in the Goldust? Yeah. How could I forget that? Like I said, that was great. You know, they recognized immediately they could not put her in the normal woman valet box. She was so much more, and they could do much more with her. as time went on, you know, obviously we learned a lot about her, and we learned about, you know, her struggles, things that she went through. Um, you know, I can't imagine working somewhere like the WWF and your boyfriend starts dating the boss's daughter. What that, you know, must be like. How do you continue on like that? And you know, she put her smile, you know, she put her best foot forward. And you know, she went out there and she, probably because of her mental health, and it's documented that, you know, she had mental health issues and she had substance abuse issues. You know, that you can imagine what that does to a person, and probably their self-esteem. I thought she was the best when she was with Eddie Guerrero. Like, I really thought that was when she seemed the happiest, and he seemed happy, and it just seemed, you know, even though she was a girlfriend, because you know that was also something I feel like we see way too much of in this era. Everybody was boyfriend, girlfriend, and that made the boys fight over the girl, and you know, some of that was maybe a little bit high schooly. But you know, I really did think she looked the happiest with Eddie Guerrero. If you've never watched the vice versa of China, if you all, have you all seen that?
Yeah, I have seen.
Yeah.
You know, it made me so sad, because she had nobody that wasn't trying to make a buck off her in her life, you know. And it just, she was screaming for help, and she wasn't, I mean, unfortunately she wasn't getting what she needed. Again, this is just from my perspective, I felt like she did not have people that were really in her corner, you know. And the amount of stuff, I guess, or just the amount of things that she had to overcome, and to, again, to be that pivotal figure in the WWE and all that she was able to accomplish. You know, I'm pretty sure that it was probably very hard in that male dominant locker room for them to say, "Hey, Bob Holly, you're going to lose to a woman," you know. And what kind of, you know, what a trailblazer, what she probably had to deal with in that respects, because of the situation she was being put in, because of her strength and abilities. You know, it's just, it's a very tragic story. And um I'm just very empathetic. I feel very much for Joni, you know, who was the character China, and how her life turned out. Because I, again, that vice versa, and you know, for you all that have seen it, it is just, I mean, I hated it. You know, I really did. I felt like everybody was taking advantage of her, and really all she ever wanted probably was to be loved, and to feel like she was loved by others, in, you know, not necessarily fans, but just that, you know, she had people around her that she could count on, and that she just really didn't. And like I said, I felt like that was kind of a sad end. And I won't keep rattling on about China, because like I said, I think that she probably is a lot of women, in a sense, where maybe they are not super confident. They may project a confidence, but maybe inside they still have a lot of self-esteem issues. And males too. Everybody can feel self-conscious about themselves. And depending on their work situation, you know, being in situations where it's not your fault that you're the best. And some people may think that. So, like I said, I'm sorry. I just really think that it's a really sad story, but she is such a pivotal. She needs her own induction into the Hall of Fame. I'm very glad that she did go in with DX, because, again, she is a huge part of that faction. But she really does need her own induction. I think it's not fair for her not to be in it. So,
I agree. I did like how they gave her little push during that Hall of Fame. They all said something about her and stuff like that.
We are all advocates. We are all big China fans here, so we have spoken to her about We've spoken about her on previous shows, and we appreciate the female perspective on her. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree too. I love the China and Eddie Guerrero angle's the best. When she was Mamacita.
I love that. I love badass China that wasn't talking at first and was the bodyguard.
Her and Mark Henry has some good stuff too.
On the way the camera angles would shoot her and stuff, like they always she's like this. Sometimes they're from a lower angle, so she looks, like I don't know. It's cool to see stuff like that. How it started obviously really good, definitely went to the wayside, but once they get behind you, man, who knows what you can do? It's just the fact that when they give up on you sometimes, especially, I don't know. There's a lot of things they could have done more.
We all have opinions. We all have opinions on this for sure.
Yeah.
We all listen to, and we love JR and we love Conrad, but that episode on China that they did, I mean, Conrad called out JR. It really did, and it was uncomfortable to listen to. It was last Christmas time when they were doing extra episodes, special episodes, and he basically said, "Why didn't you help her?" I mean, in so many words, and it was ugly. It was an ugly moment on that show where I was like, I don't want to listen to this anymore, but it feels like they didn't. And I don't blame JR for that. He was in the position where he worked for someone. When you work for someone, you do what you're told.
Well, and you think about that time period, maybe, and again, I hate to be like, well, that was just a time period. There were probably lots of people that, that needed a hand or needed to be reached out to and let's do something different, or, we're struggling. That's the word I'm trying to look for. There were probably a lot of people in that time period that were struggling. And I think sometimes it's hard to say, to do an intervention, basically, I guess, in some ways. And I'm sure that in their heart, they're like, well, if she really needs something, she'll come to me, or I told her, if you ever need anything, come, so, but I'm with you. He's in the company, and the boss's daughter is now, is getting with her ex-boyfriend. It's just, like I said, it was like a soap opera, and she, I don't know. That was
kind of her positioning on the card too. I mean, you got to think about that changes her financial situation tremendously.
Exactly.
Also, you got to think about,
and it played with her insecurities that she had before. And then, back
do they like me, or do they just like me because I'm,
And mental health wasn't talked about back then, so you couldn't reach out to nobody because someone that was her stature. I can't say nothing about mental health because look at me. I'd be considered weak if I do that.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, again, that's very true. And who was she supposed to talk to?
She didn't have a good family life.
Right. And her ex-boyfriend is now dating the boss's daughter. Who wants to get involved in that?
And JR kind of talks about her like she kind of turned into a nuisance and a complainer. Like, so who do you talk to?
Right.
And at the same time with JR, he's dealing with everybody. And I hate to put him down, but I get aggravated at work too. We all do. So, but I just, as we all say, we definitely feel she could have used a little more help. That's all.
And maybe they're doing better with that, with the whole everything, the drug treatments and the culture that we even have now, where we're even talking about mental health, and people, seeing that it's okay, especially with the way the pandemic happened, and people probably realizing more than ever, I need to talk to someone. I need, I'm struggling. So again, maybe it's the culture too that's gotten better. So
true. We all, me and you have teenage kids, so we get it. A few of us do. So, no, I mean, some of us have a teenager on here right now, right, Devyn?
I'm 24. I'm not a teenager.
Exactly.
All right, James, we're going to kick it back to you. We're coming up on, as Coach just texted me, he's not even in here. He just told me we're coming up on 2.5 hours.
Good for him.
3 hours. I'm sorry, 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I do need to say, my family needs me. So
oh, look at you.
I know. I'm very, very sorry to step out before I get to hear about Mike's meads. I'll catch it on the replay because I don't grill, but my husband really likes to, and so I'm always, interested in and I'll say, what, do you do this or whatever.
Well,
So
before you leave,
Oh.
all right, let's we want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
This was a great. It was.
Thank you
first off,
very much.
I want to let everybody know that Amy was my first top gal guy friend. I was not a top guy yet. I was just at the time, toot toot, and she'd reached out a number of times saying, "You're missing it. You're missing it." When you guys were all too cool, yeah. So she was my first top gal friend, and really appreciate you coming on the female perspective. And it was really, I really enjoyed myself. So thank you.
Wonderful. Well, like I said, the pleasure's all mine. I really do appreciate you all even inviting me on here. I can be long-winded. I do apologize because you said we're getting to be 3 hours. I love talking about wrestling. And so sometimes that's a bad thing because like you said, my family's like, are you done? I need this. I got this going on.
Oh,
So
we've seen what's going on over there. Believe me.
yes, you see.
Oh.
And so, so again, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for my shirt. I'm wearing it now. I see if you can see my Kick Out Crew shirt. I will wear it proudly. I do appreciate you all asking me. And I think y'all are great. I love every one of y'all. I had fun talking wrestling. And so I enjoy your podcast and you all have a great night.
Good night, Amy. Thank you.
Amy.
Bye-bye.
Amy.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Oh, thank you. That was awesome.
Now we can talk about her. Yay. I'm just kidding.
Well, if there are no remaining topics, I guess the only topic remaining would be Mike's Beat Minutes. So Mike, what you got on the grills for us today?
What about some wings?
Hell yeah.
Chicken wings. And with these, I got a little sauce I like to make. And that's what I'm going to give you all the recipe for. This right here, you need one of like the medium-sized bottle of red hot wing sauce. You can take the whole bottle of that, add 1/4 cup of teriyaki sauce, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, 2 teaspoons of crushed red peppers. And if you want it hotter, you can add more hot sauce. If you don't like it real hot, throw in a little bit of butter. And what you want to do is put that in there and then get it to a simmer and stir it up. And as you're doing that, you add Italian breadcrumbs to it, just to get a little bit. What that does is that will make it thicker, so you have a thick sauce instead of real wet sauce. Or if you like it wet, just don't add it to it.
Yes, sir.
I season my wings with Caribbean Jack wing sauce before I throw them on the grill. So I season with that, throw them on the grill at 350, cook them about 20-25 minutes. Flip them maybe 5 minutes, get them good to go. When they come out, put them in that sauce, and you're good to go.
Nice.
Love wings. Always a favorite around my stomach, for sure.
Hopefully the wing shortage can end sometime soon. I think they're just making it up around here now.
Oh man.
Yeah, well, we got one here too. Believe me.
Market price. That is my favorite menu price ever. $18 for 12 wings in Philly.
You would not believe some of the waste that we had in chicken in my store. But hey, that's a different conversation.
Anyway.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mike. Love wings, like I said. Devyn, are you going to demographically challenge us with Devyn's demographic today?
So, for my Devyn's demographic of the week, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show. It's only on Netflix. But I'm obsessed with it. Erica is obsessed with it. My roommate, Kirsten, she's obsessed with it too. Stranger Things is back. We've already binged it all. We finished the whole season, but it's back and on Netflix. I love the show. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. It's about like a bunch of high schoolers facing these, just these crazy phenomenons.
So I watched season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My daughter talked me into it. Now my daughter is closer in age to you than I am to you. You know that, right? By a lot.
How old's your daughter?
She's going to be 18.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you're like 7-8 years apart, and we are 20 years apart. Oh yeah. Anyway, she had me. I watched it. We liked it, but we did not watch it after that. She is already just like you, Devyn, already watched the entire thing, probably twice by now. So, Stranger Things, I'll tell you what, Netflix subscriptions go up when that new season comes out. So they do a great job. You know what I do like about the show? I have caught it here and there since then, is that they have grown with their audience. So even though like it was how many years ago they started, you guys were younger, and they have grown up with you, kind of like the Harry Potters, where the show got older with their audience. I think that is so clever. I really do. So that's a great demographic, Devyn, considering your age and you grew up with it, like your teenage years to now, right?
Yeah, now I have to wait until 2024 for the 5th season to come out.
And then that's it, right? That's the final one?
That's the word. That's going to be the final season. But I don't know. We'll see.
I know a little bit, man, because I got kids close to your age, okay? So I try to keep up with the times, be a hip dad.
Yeah.
Not quite getting there.
Then after 2024, Devyn, you can start watching adult stuff. I'm surprised.
Hey, there it is. Yes.
I recommend, guys, if you guys haven't watched Winning Time yet, though, freaking watch it on HBO Max. Fucking
Is that the Lakers?
Yeah, so good. So good. What are you watching there, Adam?
Shark Tank.
Me too.
That entrepreneurial spirit.
I can't wait to grow up.
I'm looking for good inventions to rip off.
I've been watching Westworld on HBO Max. I like that.
HBO's
I watched
pretty
the first season a while ago, and then I just realized there's a couple more seasons, so I just started watching them. But
I started watching Barry, and it's with Bill Hader, right? Is that his name? Well, anyway,
I think I watched one episode of that.
I'm telling you, it took me like 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna laugh, because it was like that kind of show, like you're not sure at first, you got to kind of hang in there, but very good. Yeah. All right, so that's TV time with the Kickout crew.
Right. I don't really watch shit. Master of Puppet scene I felt was a bit overrated when I saw the clip, but hey, I don't know the story of the show, so
James got to get up in 2 hours and 25 minutes, so
it's about 3 hours and roughly 3 hours.
And that's a shoot.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be going to Providence, Rhode Island next week. I'm getting together with Frank. So I might do the show on locations, depending on how y'all want to do it. But we all do record stuff.
We if we're gonna talk about next week, James, you want me to say something?
I was gonna let y'all know we're gonna record stuff in the U-Haul truck and actually gonna show some of it on Twitter.
All right, so James, I'm just gonna get into it. All right, next week we're gonna be talking about the women's revolution. So 2016 to now. We kind of have a good idea what our matches are going to be. We've been talking about this episode probably for the last three episodes. We are also going to welcome Lindsay to the show. I reached out to her today and she is in. So just so everybody knows, that's what next week is going to be. And then there's maybe a surprise for another episode. It may be the week after, may not be, right, James?
You know what? We're flat at the seat of our pants right now on a bunch of things, but we
have ideas. A lot of good ideas.
A lot of great ideas. We'll see what's real and what's not.
We don't know if they're broken promises.
That's what I'm saying. That's the cool thing about wrestling, man. What's kayfabe and what's real.
You don't know if they end up on the boulevard of broken dreams. You just never know.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say something bad.
So like I said, we were really happy to have Amy on here today.
Yes.
I wasn't kidding about Amy being my first Top Guy friend. She is a sweetheart. She's a good person, and it was good to have her on. Really can't wait to meet her in for the first, because I didn't get to go last year in Chicago, and the rest of you assholes. So except for you, Devyn, jack off, because you're married next year.
Yeah, 13 months later. Still kind of upset that I found that out.
Yeah, because the bullshit is he's not coming next year either, James.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be get married next month.
Anyway, go ahead, James. Let's do the outros. Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. Well. I think we've definitely talked long enough, and Lord knows.
Hang on, James. Wait a minute.
There it is. It's time to go home. That's a go home call. Shooting in the roughs here. I want to thank Amy, like we just said, for being on the episode. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank everyone for the positive feedback. Obviously, great episode with the great questions today. Thank everybody for writing in, tuning in, retweeting us, liking, commenting, subscribing, watching, listening, whatever you do. We are the Kickout Crew. But I am at James L. Corai, and I'm going to send it at the order of how my screen is. And next on the mic is my man, Devyn. So, you know, go ahead and give the people your stuff and take it away.
I'm Devyn Dally. You can catch me at DevynD19 on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. I thought this was a really fun show to cover with you guys today and with Amy. 2015 was the year I graduated high school, and I was fully enthralled in the wrestling atmosphere. So this was a fun show. I'm excited to see what we're gonna do next week.
You're such an asshole. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. That one cut me deep in my heart. But yeah, thanks, Devyn. Mike, tell the people how to get a hold of you.
You can find me at Whitaker1028 on Twitter. Pretty much all I'm really on. I'm messing around with everything here and there, but hit me up on Twitter and let's have a chat.
Oh yeah. And next, Adam, tell the people how to get in touch with you. You know, mention all of the shit that you do. I know you're a busy man.
So it's Adam_from_Bama. Shout out to that one special person out there, you know. We don't do names and nothing like that. But and then holla, you know, like I said, I'll be out of town next week with Frank. So pay attention to Twitter because we're doing 21 hours straight driving U-Haul truck, me and Frank. Providence, Rhode Island to New Orleans, Louisiana. So we're going straight through. So we're going to have a good time.
Man, that's going to be some fun stuff. Congrats to Frank. You know, you got a bunch of fans here at the Kickout Crew for sure. And Brad, tell the people how to reach you.
I am Brad at Yes Man Brad on Twitter. Just want to say real quick, next week, Adam actually is going to have a whole different segment that he has been working on for some time. He got a bunch of DMs, me too, about why Adam is not a bigger part of the show. I said, that's up to Adam. So he's got a big surprise for us next week. So stay tuned.
Oh. Well, I guess that's the only way we can do this with a little teaser. And, you know, so once again, thank you for listening, watching, subscribing, everything. We are the Kickout Crew because when life takes you down, you know, kick out it too, because that's what we do. We're the Kickout Crew. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week. Appreciate it.
Peace.
I guess I'll go ahead and get into it.
All right, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special and somber Kickout Crew episode. Today, we have Mike in the rain. We have Brad in some pain. We have Devyn eating. Coach, Adam, where are they? Who knows? But we have Amy. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do it that way.
Oh, jeez. What are you doing?
All right.